Wild Yinzers kicking through the door, loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Oh, but it's winter, they say. You live in Western Pennsylvania, they say. This happens every year, they say. Good morning. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Yeah, welcome back. This is episode 898 of the Two Dum Yinzers. I want to say to everybody this morning, welcome back, or this afternoon, depending on where you be. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. It's the day. This is the day that the new leader takes over in Pittsburgh, guys. That's right. Today at 2:00, Mike McCarthy will be. There will be the introductory interview with Omar Khan, with Rooney, with Mike McCarthy, guys. That all goes down today. I got to be honest with you. I feel like and I'm sure everybody. And again, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. See, there that is again, Mike. Why does it do that?
Do what? What happened?
It's playing that song again, but it's playing that alternate version, and I could hear it real low.
Oh.
You don't hear that?
No.
All right, whatever you got to do to kill this. Yeah, okay, there it is.
Yeah, it's gone.
And again, I'm not complaining. I mean, again, I understand that it is what it is, but geez, oh man, my whole body. What you got to understand about where the studio is, there's about a 50-yard driveway to get back to the studio, and it's about 50 yards. And gosh, damn it, I got to be honest with you. Mike and I shoveled every square inch of it yesterday just to be able to get in and out of this place. And you know where I'm going. Again, I don't want to sit around and complain all day. You know what it's all about, everybody, especially here in Western PA and also across the country dealing with this storm just as of late, guys. Welcome back to the show. Glad to see everybody. Glad that everybody made it. Welcome. Let's get to the board. We got quite a few things to go over today. I'll get to more here shortly. Let me get on the board. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Glad to see you. Welcome back again. Just 2 short episodes away from knocking out season 8, guys. We'll be in season 9 by the end of the week, getting ready for the last 100-day countdown to get this the 1000th show, guys. That is right around the corner. But let me get to the board. That's what's most important. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Glad to see you. This weather, this storm has been a killer. My whole body, my lungs. I was out there with again. I know, you know.
You looked worse than me, bro.
I did.
I was worried about you.
Mm. Let me get to the board. Miss Pittsburgh, here we go. Steeler Nation, that's right, baby. Good morning, good afternoon, Miss Pittsburgh. Always great to see you on the terrible board. She says, good afternoon, everyone. Here we go. My guys, what's up, Tyrone? Always great to see the goat Tyrone on the terrible board. My man, Steeler Freak John. John says, I was wondering if there was a show today. Here we are. We made it. All the shoveling and coughing and soreness aside, here we be. Here we be. If we had a crowing on our faces, we were going to make it. I got to be honest with you. But good afternoon, everybody. Glad to see you. Yinzer Joe, what's up, Yinzers? Always great to see Yinzer Joe on the terrible board. Miss Pittsburgh says, let's go. Somber, yo, what up, bro? Always great seeing this great Somber on the terrible board. Tortilla, McCarthy about to drop an album in 2 hours. Armac, great seeing Armac on the terrible board. As always, Tortilla says the album is called Steel. Cheese and Cowboys. Steel, Cheese, and Cowboys. Yinzer Joseph is going to talk to McCarthy at 2 today. Got some things on my mind. He probably won't hear me yelling at the TV. Hey, that shouldn't stop you, though. Cody says it's a super trucker today, boss. A super trucker. Mark Malone says this. He says we only got 8 inches here.
That's what I tell the ladies.
Somber says Giants are hiring DeBall as their offensive coordinator. Tyrone says, here we go, Steelers. Bingo, always great seeing Bingo on the terrible board. Welcome back to the show, guys. Two Dum Yinzers, Mike says Bills hire their offensive coach as head. Is that what's going on, Mike?
Yep. It was like probably about like 20 minutes before we got on air. I saw that news break.
Who is their offensive coach?
Joe Brady.
Joe Brady, the head coach up in Buffalo.
The Brady Bunch.
Georgianne, always great seeing Georgianne. She says Ryan and Vanilla. Somber, as long as he doesn't take the Raiders head coaching job. Max says the Giants. Georgianne says hello all. Ty says Joe Brady, the head coach up in Buffalo. I guess that's what's going on. Just learning that myself. Bingo says, I mean, upside, it's a fresh guy who seems to like Will Howard. He seems to love Will Howard. So again, we'll be getting into that. So much more today, guys. Some information also about possible coaches coming in, possible assistant coaches going out, a lot of different stories going on today, and some kind of a weird mix-up in the rumor mill about how the Chris Shula interview actually went with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, at first we heard it went fantastic. We were blown away. It was brilliant.
Otherworldly,
they said. And then today we're getting the news that it was a complete, what was the word they used? A complete bust, maybe? I can't throw the word.
Disaster.
It was, he bombed is the word that we're getting lately. So what to make of that, I don't know. Somber says OC greater than head coach. Brady got promoted. Somber says Lindsay, always great seeing Lindsay on a terrible board. Welcome. Cody says I'm hauling this half pit on one lane highway because of the fast lane is full of ice and snow. Ain't that crazy? Down your way too, you know.
Well, why are you texting and driving, Cody?
He's listening to this show. Leave him alone.
He can listen. He don't need to. Yeah, comment. I don't care. You're right. Helps us out. Thanks, brother.
Let's see right here. Yinzer Joe, welcome to you, sir. He says, so are we America's team now with the hire of McCarthy? You know, we could have all Cowboys when this thing's all said and done. It looks like it's going to be maybe possibly an all Cowboys and Green Bay Packers staff, but we don't know yet. We got to wait and see. A lot's going to happen, guys. We're going to learn today. Today's just day one. Again, we are introducing Mike McCarthy as the coach today at 2:00. I'm going to go right here. Ryan, they said, boomed it. He boomed it. Armac says Titans hired the ball. Also, Somber says Titans, sorry, laughed my ass off. I said Giants. Now Ryan's message makes sense. Still waking up. All good, bro. Mark Malone says they say Shilhosh really bombed it too. Bingo says I'm not stoked that Arthur Smith is now the offensive coordinator for his Buckeyes. I gotta be honest with you, you're gonna have more wins than you ever imagined. Of course,
I just can't stop laughing every time I hear that news.
Of course, that's not gonna be the way this plays out, but it's gonna be a funny joke all the way through, and it's probably gonna be fine because again, it's a different game, it's a different sport, and they are the top of the food chain when it comes to football and college. So I think Arthur Smith will be just fine in Ohio State, Mike.
Hey man, once all their wide receivers decommit and he brings in 17 tight ends, they're back to the natty, baby.
I
This
love it.
might actually swing me back to being a Penn State fan. We might have a chance now.
I doubt it, but let's move on the board here. Lindsay says, hope you're safe, Cody. Yeah, stay safe, Cody. Obviously, I was just kidding. Focus on the road. I don't want you focusing on the show, typing and texting, obviously, if you're out on the highway. Bingo says, I can't get rid of this guy. Tortilla says, I can't trust Steeler media. Just throw everything at the wall and then exactly. Exactly. They're the worst.
You can probably tell like which member of the media was rooting for a certain guy or had an agent feeding them info to like, hey, help our guy out or blah 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 by the narratives that are being pushed out there by media members.
John says this surely used the word rebuild or called security. Max says, dude, I was about to trip. Why would they rehire him for offensive coordinator? Tyrone says, bingo facts. Laugh my ass off. Carlton, I do want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to the terrible board. Glad to have you. Nice to see you. He says this. I don't care what anybody says. As long as Will Howard is our starting quarterback going into training camp, I'm on board. Interesting. And you know, I think this is ultimately going to be the way that it is. I got to be honest with you. I don't see why it wouldn't be, unless you have a totally different game plan than what the common sense move is here. And again, if that's the case, then I don't know where the hell things are going. But it seems to me right now that Mike McCarthy's coming in. Will Howard is going to be the guy. We're going to start from there. We're going to see if he could develop this quarterback. And again, Mike, it just seems like they're kind of giving him a lot of familiar with the whole situation. I mean, the team's very similar with things that he's dealt with in the past, but you're going to give him that new young quarterback once again, as he was there with some of these other great quarterbacks throughout their early parts of their career, and see if he could do anything with them. This ultimately is, Mike, was the move ultimately to get this offense jump started and just moving maybe to get Will Howard, get a quarterback into place, because at the end of the day, again, it's debatable. It's controversial. A lot of people, they don't want the older 62-year-old guy, albeit he is from Pittsburgh. Albeit there's a lot of good that the Pittsburghers will love about the guy. But at the end of the day, it was certainly a shock to me because I was expecting a move forward in this league to where, again, those three coaches that I talk about often, the one that just resigned, Mike Tomlin, our new coach, Mike McCarthy, and then, of course, John Harbaugh, they just kind of fall into that category where I think they can still be solid. They can still be serviceable, but it seems like these younger guys, they're the ones that are going to be moving forward. And again, say what you want about our style, our coach's style, Tomlin's style, and Harbaugh's style. They just haven't done anything in 15 years. That tells me that they're having a hard time keeping up while all these younger coaches and new systems are able to continue to move forward. That's the problem I have with the situation at hand. Mike, ultimately, why was Mike McCarthy hired the Pittsburgh Steelers coach? Did it have anything to do with getting this offense jump started, and maybe moving up some coordinators, bumping up some down the road, maybe a few years, let McCarthy, just being the more seasoned, tenured guy, get things rolling, and then down the road, see how it goes and possibly pull up an offensive coordinator, grab one of these young studs around the league, something like that. Mike McCarthy, give us what you got.
I think I was thinking about this today, actually. I think they're all in on Will Howard, and that's okay. If that's what their plan's going to be, they identify him. They like what they saw from him in the process. And like, hey, a couple years of development, this cat could run an offense that we've seen in the NFL. And we think Mike McCarthy can be that guy. We know what he's done with young quarterbacks. And, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, he learned from Joe Montana. Coached Aaron Brooks for a while. Aaron Brooks wasn't the greatest quarterback, but he got stuff out of him, made him look okay for a couple years. And if they think he can do that with Will Howard, go ahead and do that. And you have a coach who can work with young quarterbacks, a coach whose offense is still being run in Dallas was a high-scoring offense. So, okay, this guy still knows modern-day NFL. The passing game can still develop quarterbacks, run with him. If they identified Will Howard as their guy and he's okay with it, fine, this makes sense. And then in the draft, I'm looking for a lot of wide receivers drafted, like a first round, a fourth round wide receiver, and maybe even another, I hate to say, but maybe another skilled tight end in there as well. Get more weapons for Will Howard, another lineman. I think it's going to be a very heavy offensive draft because I think they might like what they have in the defense. And like you said, let's get the offense jump started.
Let me ask you this, Mike. How far are we off from Will Howard doing what Drake May is doing? How far
Oh,
are we off from the Pittsburgh Steelers doing what the New England Patriots are doing? Because again, at the end of the day, that team from New England was 4-13 last year. That team from
yeah.
Pittsburgh was 10-7 last year. So in theory, we should be closer to where they are right now than they are. Mike, how far are we off from being where Mike Vrabel and Drake May is with Mike McCarthy and Will Howard realistically?
So I don't think Will Howard's the talent that Drake May is, but I think he can be if they get out of him what they think they can get out of him, if they can make him like a top 15 quarterback, that might be enough. And you still have a defense that can fly around maybe a year or two. This year to play and develop, and you hover around that 500 area because this team, they're not going to want to lose, they're not going to not want to compete, and the guys aren't going to tank. So it's going to be let's first be 8, 9, 9, and 8, but still developing a lot of young talent along the way. You have 13 picks this year, and like I said yesterday, maybe trade up in the first 3 rounds, get some more talent, higher talent. And then you have those guys ready to go, mixed in with a couple good draft classes already that we have under our belt. Maybe a year or two. Maybe if he develops the way they think he is going to develop.
And here's the thing, unless the guy's a total schlub, at the end of the day, there's new quarterbacks coming up all the time. There's guys, obviously the guy won a national championship in Ohio State. And yes, you can't translate that into the NFL. I understand that entirely. But I'm just saying it's, people are talking like the guy's never thrown a football before. So unless he comes in and looks like Kenny Pickett, maybe there's a chance that things could continue to move in the right direction for the Steelers.
Yeah.
And there shouldn't be that much of a trip up period. And at the end of the day, if the coach does what we brought him in for, obviously to develop this young quarterback and to bring the offense along, maybe we shouldn't be hung out to dry as long as we're thinking. I still think that we're going to land on our feet at the end of the day. Let me get to a few things here because I do see Tater Tot popping up on the board. Of course, our resident Browns fan from across the pond. He, for whatever reason, still continues to come. And I have lots of things for Tater today. And the only reason I'm doing this is because it's funny, and shitting on Browns fans is what we love to do in Pittsburgh. It's one of the more fun things. But Tater Tot, this is some of the things that I did hear about your team, and then we're going to get to the important stuff. Tater Tot, this is the new scoop on the Cleveland Browns, as I did see Tater enter the room. Tater Tot, Shedeur Sanders, he made the Pro Bowl. And this is why the Pro Bowl it's worthless. Shedeur Sanders, guys, had 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 1,500 yards. He was a bottom 3 quarterback. He was 41 out of 42 in qualified quarterbacks on passer ratings. Guys, in my opinion, they're trying to kill the Pro Bowl. I just believe they do because at the end of the day, there's no way in hell that a person with those numbers should be in the Pro Bowl, even as a reserve on the reserve level. Guys, this Pro Bowl is going down. It's going down fast. As a matter of fact, it's going down so fast, it's on Tuesday. It's on a Tuesday this year. It's not even on Sundays anymore. But the funny thing to me on that is Shedeur Sanders. And, of course, a little Tater, he's going to be excited about this. But at the end of the day, this is just showing you, again, in my opinion, I think they're trying to crash the Pro Bowl game. I don't think anybody has any interest in it. I truly don't think anybody has any interest in it. Fans, players, coaches, teams, owners, they don't want their players hurt. The only people that are really losing out is the children. Yeah, when you say it like that, because at the end of the day, that's what it's truly. You're trying to bring the future generations along, keep them involved in your business, keep them interested in your business. And when I was a kid, I loved Pro Bowls, I loved All Pros, I loved home run contests, I loved slam dunk contests, and I loved everything like that. So the only ones that I think are really losing are the kids in the future fans of this league. But I got to be honest with you, it surely seems to me that they're crashing this Pro Bowl into the ground. It's not only worthless, it's embarrassing. As Tyrone's saying on the board, it's a joke. They should cancel the Pro Bowl, as TC's saying. Guys, again, flag football at best is what this is. And again, is it any surprise that Shedeur Sanders lands on this joke of a situation that they have going on? Mike, Shedeur Sanders, again, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Meanwhile, Trevor Lawrence, who didn't make it, had 38 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 4,300 yards. He was a top 3 in MVP. So this shows you that it's kind of a joke what's going on with this Pro Bowl. I think they're trying to do away with it.
Yeah, I know, Trevor Lawrence declined, but you got to get to a certain point. You got to tell
But he's a Pro Bowl. The point is he was a Pro Bowl caliber guy.
Yeah.
The fact if he declines, goes, whatever, this is what's in there.
Yeah, I know, and that's you got to get to a point where like the leagues are gonna tell one of these guys like, no, listen, you just go first, do what's best for the league, and just show up. You don't have to play, just show up and go there, so we don't have to put someone in there that is an embarrassment of of the league, someone who doesn't deserve to be there to make our league look bad, and expose a player to ridicule for nothing that they did wrong. So it's kind of stupid. Like the league should tell one of these guys, "Hey, show up." How many times have you seen like in others, like in hockey, Sidney Crosby named to like an all-star game when he didn't have an all-star first half? You show
Never.
up there, smile and wave, or or they're hurt and they don't want to play. Hey, you go, or you're going to get fined or suspended. They go,
Again,
they
Mike, the
smile,
only people hurt by
and wait
this,
for the
the
camera.
only people that are hurt by this are the inners, the
Yeah.
kids. They're the ones that love this. And again,
Yeah.
they're the ones ultimately getting screwed because of greed. And we don't want guys to get, well, guess what? They're football players. People get hurt. Just I have to move along. I do have some other things about the Cleveland Browns here because I see Tater is obviously not catching the point. Tyrone says it's a popularity contest, and Tater says correct because the Browns are popular. So let me explain to you more why the Browns are terrible. And they're never going to be good. These championships from the 50s or the 30s or the 10s or the 1500s or whatever the hell they thought they were good. Get this, guys. In the 1940s, there was 7 teams in the league. That's why you can't take Browns championship serious. And again, at the end of the day, they're going to say, well, what it's played, it's football. How is it you just take it in? No, guys, there were 7 teams in the 40s when the Browns were starting to get good. And even in the 50s when the Browns were winning these championships, guys, 13 teams in the league. That Cleveland is why you can't count these ridiculous early 1900s in the Super Bowl era. On top of they didn't even keep statistics the same way. Again, no sacks, a lot of things they didn't even keep. So Tater, there's just a little education for you across the pond. The Browns are bad. They're always going to be bad. And here's another thing. Jim Schwartz, he's gaining momentum as the Browns' next head coach. As we laughed about that early, guys, of course, Jim Schwartz is going to promote within because no coach wants to go even interview. They keep canceling their interviews on their way to Cleveland. And for this reason, Jim Schwartz he's leading the way, looking like he's going to be the new head coach of Cleveland. And I was also reading this morning, the Steelers can snatch Jim Schwartz up because he is the defensive coordinator. They have a nice defense, albeit they win 2 to 5 games a year. But at the end of the day, wouldn't that be funny if we went and actually grabbed the guy that actually had a chance to maybe be their best possible coach? Mike, wouldn't that be funny if we stole their guy?
That would be funny as fuck. I would not be opposed to this, doing an interview request for him. Now it would be like a lateral move. I don't think they have to give permission for lateral moves. I forget what all the protocol is for, but that would be funny as fuck. But I think he really wants. I think he really wants to be the head coach of the Browns. And I think that guy has been brainwashed.
So there you go. Yeah. So there you go. Let's move on. We got all the bullshit talk out of the way. We got all the Browns talk out of the way. Let's get to what's important here. Today, the Pittsburgh Steelers are introducing their new head coach, guys. Only their 4th head coach in the Super Bowl era. That's right, after the big 3, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. Mike McCarthy, who I thought, I got to be honest with you, in the early 2010s, maybe right around before, between when Tomlin got hired, in between when we lost to them in the Super Bowl, I thought to myself a few times, I thought, you know what, McCarthy might be a nice coach. He's doing some good things over in Green Bay. And then he wins the Super Bowl, obviously, against us. I thought this might be a good guy. But as time went on, and I continued to just, again, see the league pass guys like him by, see the league pass guys like Tomlin by, see the league pass guys like Harbaugh by, I lost interest. I lost my head of steam with him. Yes, I love the fact he's from here. I love the fact that he's a Yinzer, but that's truly irrelevant. At the end of the day, it's going to be something that is fun, of course. But at the end of the day, I want a guy that can win football games in January. That's the only thing that matters, guys. That's the only thing. And again, wasn't this the reason we got rid of the last guy? Or we got on them to get rid of the last guy, and he resigned, of course. I don't want to say that incorrectly, but isn't that the reason why we couldn't win in January? And I got to be honest with you, Mike McCarthy, very, very similar. We threw the records out there yesterday. They're neck and neck with one another, McCarthy and Tomlin. Their Super Bowl wins is exact. Their winning percentages very, very close. The amount of time they coached. So again, at the end of the day, are we really gaining, guys? Or did we really move forward in this? I don't know. unless they know something that we don't know. Again, it just seems to me that this could tread. We still can continue to move in place unless he comes here and he turns out to be an offensive genius. And it wasn't just Aaron Rodgers is just a really good quarterback, and it wasn't just Joe Montana was just a really good quarterback, and it wasn't just Dak Prescott was, you know, an better than average quarterback. He needs to come in, fix things, change things around for the better to get us hoping to get some wins in January, guys. Again, a decade has eluded us of any wins in January, and that's the big goal. So, like in my opinion, I just don't know. I just don't know. Is this the right move? Was this the right move? Again, today is the day he gets sworn in, basically, if you will. Was this ultimately the right move, Mike? Again, very controversial. A lot of Steeler fans. Yes, a lot of Steeler fans. No, we put the poll up yesterday, near 50%. It went a little bit on the no side. Mike, is this ultimately the right move for the Steelers?
This is going to sound like a cop-out, but no matter who we hired, only time will tell if it was the right hire or not.
All right, fair enough.
That's, you know, it's a cop-out, but it's the truth. It's not someone who I wanted, but, you know, it's looking at his track record and what our Ernie said in his press conference, it kind of makes sense. You know, he doesn't want to rebuild, wants someone who could come in and move us forward from where we are now, not take a step back. He might be the guy. You don't know. And some of these, you know, Chris Shula, we were all high on. His defenses went out there in the playoffs looking like, you know, the defenses we had seen the past
just to
couple
be
years.
fair, this is going to be what they say. The narrative they're going to drive home is, well, they gave up 31 points to the Seahawks in the national championship. I think you have to look a little deeper than that one particular game, of course. If you go to the person's last loss, it's never going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
You got to look at it as a whole. But at the end of the day, you're right. This Shula, we're going to get into this in just a second because it was fantastic, apparently, the virtual interview. But now, again, our media is telling us that it was a disaster. Somebody's saying that it was a disaster. We're going to get into that and a lot more. Mike, go ahead and finish up your thought. We're going to get to the board here. A lot to get into today.
Yeah. But, you know, whatever coach we had, you got to give him at least 3 years to see if it was the right hire or not. Because, you know, first year or two, you might take a little step back. And then year 3, you're going to take a step forward. So we don't know. So I'm willing to give it some time. He wasn't my number one choice. I wanted someone a little bit younger that's going to be here for the long haul. But, you know, if he's going to be a 3 to 5 year transitional coach, and in that 3 to 5 years, this team is set up for success or has success under him, it's a good hire.
Andy is only 49 days older than Sean Payton, who had his team in the AFC Championship game just a few days ago. So
as long as he kicks a field goal with a backup quarterback with a blizzard on the way, it's a smart hire.
And when you got your fifth-string quarterback who didn't take any snaps all year, you better take that field goal, get those points at the end of the day. So much to get into today, guys. Welcome back to the show. Again, episode 898 of the Two Dum Yinzers. Here we are. We're finally recovering from this snowstorm. A lot of digging and shoveling yesterday, coughing and wheezing, and the body is sore today. But you know what? Here we are. There was no way we was going to miss today. Guys, this is a big one as we are today bringing in a new era of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good, bad, ugly. We don't know. There's a lot of opinions both ways. I'm seeing on the board, Tortilla says ESPN ranked the Browns lower than India. Lower than India. Always funny. Always good stuff on the terrible board, guys. Welcome, everybody.
Defensive line coach Carl Dunbar not retained by Mike McCarthy.
All right. I was all right. Good on that. We do got some more scoops. Just let me catch up on the board here briefly so we don't get too far behind, Mike. It's a pretty banging day. I'm glad to see everybody today. Again, this is a big one. Let's go to right around here. Man, there's a lot, man. You guys are banging it. Let me see if I can sneak in here. Cody says England yuck. We did get that one. JPJ the GOAT, give him whatever he wants. All right, there we go. Shula bombs. Showhouse did not. That is what Somber is saying. John says, I think Tater would leave his mother's basement for Lindsay. Maybe. Tyrone says, I like that McCarthy's offensive mind. It just needed a coaching tree that was Tomlin's biggest problem. Sorry. Lindsay says he can stay there, Steeler Freak. About Tater, of course, across the pond. Somber says, Tyrone, I'll cash out you $20 if you don't mention JPJ for 24 hours. Cody says this, McCarthy going to trade JPJ. That's not going to happen. I doubt that. Somber says this. That includes chats. LOL. Tortilla, though, says this. He says, I'll cash out $4 on top of that. Hey, you know what? You can make a few bucks today. Ty Yinzer Joe says, "Do we feel that we feel like Rooney really didn't want to change in the coaching philosophy or scheme? So he had." Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting. I think they're ultimately happy with what Coach T was doing. And again, whether you agree with that or whether you don't, whether you see it that way, it feels to me that they were happy with the way that things were going. They just obviously seen the disappointment because again, we're giving them hell. You haven't won a playoff game in 10 years, longest tenure in Steelers history in Super Bowl era. I'm speaking of course, they did not win a single playoff game. So again, maybe that was the thought process. We like what Coach does. We like what Coach T does. Let's kind of get somebody very similar to him, but maybe with an offensive mind, it might be able to get us over the hump and win a couple games in January. Again, it wouldn't surprise me, Mike. A lot of times Rooney's are what's the word I'm looking for? Content with
content.
Yeah.
This Rooney seems very content.
And at the end of the day, I don't know if that's what we want. I just don't know if that's what we want as fans. I don't think we didn't boo the guy and yelled fire him because we didn't like him personally. We booed the guy and yelled fire him because we couldn't win in January. And we were down by at least 3 touchdowns in every one of the games that we played in January for the past 10 years. And again, so I don't know. That's why ultimately I don't know if we made the right move. It's going to be one of these things we're going to have to wait, watch play out, see what kind of coordinators, what kind of system he builds, what kind of schemes he runs, what he can do with the young quarterback. So many questions to be answered, guys. It's not going to be answered anytime soon. We're not going to have the answer of how next season's going. I mean, people are going to come out and are going to say, well, he's going to be terrible. People are going to say, oh, he's going to do well. The fact of the matter is there's just going to be so much change. It's hard to tell. I think we land on our feet just because the Pittsburgh Steelers organization generally does. They're a strong organization that can, and I think will land on their feet. But beyond that, I'm not sure what to expect just yet. I'm not sure what to expect. Of course, coming out and scoring some first quarter points would be a nice change. Maybe the offensive mind could make things like that happen.
Maybe.
Like, yeah.
Hey, that would be awesome, scoring points in the first quarter, not having every game to be a nail biter. It's awesome that we were great in those type of games because we were able to, like you say, bring down the really good teams to our level, and we had the experience of winning those close games. But it would be nice to go back to the days when Ben and AB and Bell were slinging the ball around, running the ball around like it was nothing. It would be nice if we can get back to those days.
Yeah. A lot to go over. Let me get into some more stuff here, guys. This is what was said about Coach Shula during his virtual interview with the Steelers last week, guys. It went down like this. This was the report. Well, of course, Coach Shula, Chris Shula, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, who just did get eliminated on Sunday with the win by Seattle, reportedly did not come across well in his virtual interviews with the Steelers. They said he bombed. He bombed is what they said, Mike. And again, last week, the news was they were fantastic. These were great interviews. They were blown away, I think was the word that was used. I could look back at my notes to find out what word was emphasized. But you know what? Blown away to bombed. What are we missing? What's going on? What don't we know about this coach search, this coach hunt? Why did we not even wait to interview these guys in person? Why did we hurry to hire a guy who literally only had the Tennessee Titans interested in him? Like, what's going on? Who's lying? Who's not lying? What's the truth? We don't know. Mike, what do you think?
From going online and seeing like where the rumor that he bombed started from in Pittsburgh, that source, this is just someone trying to make up a report as to why this guy didn't get a job. So that's what it's sounding like to me. Because I went back and online, saw where it came from, and saw like a reporter from LA going, that's completely not true. I spoke to, people from the Rams and the Steelers, and they said it was not a bad interview. So I think it's just a reporter trying to get the name out there as to why this is what happened here. This guy's terrible. We dodged a bullet. They probably
get away with putting a report out like that if it's so blatantly untrue. And everybody said it was brilliant. It was brilliant was the word that they used again, Mike. And this is why I have a problem with the local sports media. It's terrible a lot of the time. Average at best.
Agenda filled and not.
You know what it is? It's ego. The Pittsburgh local sports media is all about ego. It's all about the guys themselves. It's not about the Steelers, not about the sports. And at the end of the day, this is what you get when that's the case. Everybody knows who the big fat man is up there. and the other fat man. And it's those are things that should be secondary, guys. I want to know about my team. I want to know why they can't win. I want to know why they can win, and I want to know when they're going to win. Again, that's important. I don't want to hear made up stories about guys that bombed while they another guy said it was brilliant. Again, that's night and day. It isn't like they said he did okay and he did all right. Which did he do? No, he bombed and he was brilliant. So again, at the end of the day, that is why I tuned off almost a decade ago and haven't turned on any of those shows ever since. Like a decade ago in my car, I said never again. You guys are terrible. They're terrible what they do. It's more about them. And at the end of the day, that's not why I'm tuning in. I don't give two shit with what the fat man's doing. I don't give two shits. He looks like he smells terrible for one. And two, let me move on. Smell is irrelevant. Let's go to a couple other notes that we do have.
I just want to say, I smell amazing. I smell amazing.
Well, you shower 8 times a day. I've never seen anything like it. I've
never
seen anybody shower as many times as you.
Smell amazing.
I've never seen anybody shower as much as you. I got to be honest with you. It's
3 times
freakish.
a day.
It's freakish.
3 times a day.
And yet you still stink. I don't get it. But let me move on, here, guys.
That's fucked up, bro.
Some notes that I do have here, guys. I'm going to go right here. The Raiders defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, is a possible candidate for Mike McCarthy's staff. That is somebody that is we're going to be talking to. That is the defensive coordinator from the team that earned the number 1 seed or the number 1 pick overall. Do what you want with that, guys. This is Patrick Graham. I'm sorry. He is a possible candidate for McCarthy's staff. Also, let me go right here. Al Harris was talked about yesterday. I did look into the man, and you know what? He was the cornerback that played for Green Bay all those years. I didn't even make that connection with the hair. He literally still has the same hair. So Al Harris, the assistant defensive coach under Mike McCarthy, now the cornerbacks coach and the defensive coordinator for the Bears. He gained interest not only from us, as we'll obviously be looking at him. This is one of McCarthy's guys, but also gained interest from the Commanders as well. So that is something to keep in mind if you do like Al Harris. He was, of course, brought up on the board yesterday. Al Harris. Dallas held a interview with Steelers outside linebackers coach Denzel Martin for the same role on their team. Also, Denzel Martin, Mike, in 2016, he worked his way up to the outside linebacker coach and is, again, now sought after. So another thing I want to know, as we continue to look and search around the league for assistant coaches, is it beneficial to go with guys that worked with McCarthy, let's say in Dallas, because he knows them? But what if they weren't necessarily successful? What's the advantage, Mike, of bringing in guys, talking to them, and possibly hiring guys if they weren't fantastic at their job, but at least Mike knows them, coach knows them? How does that benefit Mike, and does that turn into a bad idea?
It's a bad idea if they weren't good at their job.
I obviously agree.
That's just right there. But if they were good at their job or got better at their job as they went on elsewhere and learned more, and they still have a good working relationship for them, they know each other, they have an understanding of the philosophy that they want to run, that's for me, that would be okay, because they went on and they learned and got better. And like, hey, yeah, coach, let's run it back. I know more and more experienced. Here's how I can help you and your team. Awesome. But if you're just going to bring them in because you know them and you're familiar with them, that's bad. It's going to be terrible. It's going to set the team back and not set the team forward. He does have coaches that have gone on elsewhere that did pretty well. And I don't know. So do you trust him or not trust him to bring in guys? Because he has a track record of some guys going on and being head coaches in the league and moving up in different positions in the league as well. So maybe you give him a little leeway in bringing players or former coaches in that he used to coach for, just based on that track record. Like, I'm not opposed to it, but they better be damn good at their job.
I see a group of messages. I'm just going to jump in and do this spot, read these messages right now, just in this little spot that I'm particularly looking at this moment. This is back a little bit. I want to say welcome to Yub Fuzz. Yub Fuzz, welcome to the Terrible Board. Welcome to the show. Yub Fuzz says this: the Pro Bowl isn't a real game. It's a show of popular athletes, of course. And again, that's ultimately why it's always been for kids. And again, you're just taking that away. You can't go down to Florida and throw a football around for a couple hours on a Saturday, guys, just to make the kids happy. The people that actually want to buy your jerseys and support you. Again, I'm not a big fan of if it's just an exhibition, why not just go do it for the kids and fans of the league and fans that want to see the popular players get together at the end of the league at the end of the season. That's just my opinion. But let me scoot up on a couple more of these. I did see a couple interesting ones that may here it is. Tyrone says it is a popularity contest. I couldn't agree more. As this, what are we going to take away the slam dunk contest? Hell no, we're not going to take away the slam dunk. We're going to take away the home run contest. Get your ass down to Hawaii, you babies, and throw a football around for a couple of hours. How hard is that? You're not going to get hurt. You're a football player. It's time to not be poontangs all of a sudden. My God. If it was for Mike, if it was for their kids, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go out and earn as much money and ask for as many raises and get the incentives. How about for somebody else? Think about somebody beside yourself for once. Go to Hawaii, throw a football around, and shut the F up. Just my opinion. John says, this Ryan, are you slow? Lindsay is the only reason Tater comes back. He takes the abuse for the one hello a day from her. It was like he was a recipient of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So I had to get those couple in. I thought that was funny. John, I acknowledge it 100%, and I agree with you, and I couldn't agree more. Let me get back to some more coaching news. Guys that are maybe coming in, guys that may be going out. Of course, all the assistant coaches under Mike Tomlin were told to start looking for new work. We're not going to retain you unless the new coach wants to come in and retain you. This is another one, guys. Dallas tight ends coach Luna Wells. He's expected to interview this week for the Pittsburgh offensive coordinator job as well. He worked with Mike McCarthy for 5 years. And what else? I thought there was another part of my note, but that was the only part. He did work with Mike McCarthy for 5 years. So Luna Wells, the tight end coach for Dallas, is another person that is going to be coming in for interviews. So again, I'm having a hard time understanding, why are we building a team that was taught, coached, et cetera, by a bunch of guys that didn't really have any success. Again, Dallas is the only team in the last 30 years in the NFC that has not been to the NFC game. Every single other team, all 15 other teams have been to the NFC Championship game in the last 30 years. Dallas is not, and here we are, we're building our coaching staff based off of Dallas's coaching staff, providing these all become hires. Again, these are a lot of people that did work with Mike, under Mike McCarthy, of course. Again, Luna Wells, the tight end coach, guys, is due for an interview. Also, Washington passed up on Terrell Austin. And I do know that also Dallas is interested in Terrell Austin as well. So a couple teams that our former defensive coordinator Terrell Austin did and will be interviewing for. I do know that Dallas has interest. So what are we doing? We're just trading back and forth with Dallas. We're giving us their schlubs, and they're giving us their schlubs, and we're going to hope that we finish with a 12-5 instead of a 10-7, because they had, I think, 12-5 years in a row with McCarthy somewhat recently. We had all these 10-7s. So is that what we're doing? Like, we trading for a couple wins and hopefully getting a win in January? Is that what's going on?
I'll take some of their offensive coaches from Dallas. It wasn't the offense that let them down, man. It was that the defense let them down a whole lot. So yeah, I'll take their offensive coaches, because they're still scoring a lot of points down there. That offense is nice down there. So give me their offensive coaches. I don't really want any of their defensive coaches. Let's find them from elsewhere. Maybe we run it back with Terrell Austin.
There you go. Well, he does have. He's
I don't think that's happening at all.
Mike, he has a lot of interest. Of course, Dallas is interested. So again, whatever this, all of a sudden, Dallas and Pittsburgh are like best friends, and they're switching and trading and exchanging. And again, I couldn't stand the Cowboys for pretty much most of my life, but here we are watching that play out, guys. As we do head into the Shrine Bowl tonight, don't forget to check out the Shrine Bowl. If you have the NFL Network, guys, the game starts at 7:00 tonight. The Shrine Bowl, it's the 101st East vs. West Shrine Bowl. You can check out a lot of these kids coming out of college as the draft is approaching less than 90 days right here in Pittsburgh, guys. Get familiar with some of these kids and what they look like and what they're up to and what they got going on. And also this Saturday we have the Senior Bowl. That also is an NFL Network, going to be on the NFL Network. So if you're up to keeping up with what these kids are looking like coming out of school, maybe some names that you heard, you're just not quite sure on their play, or vice versa, you could check them out again tonight at 7 o'clock on NFL Network, guys. The 101st East-West Shrine Bowl today at 7. Saturday, the Senior Bowl, that's also on the NFL Network. And also, I just read, guys, that you want to know how unpopular this Pro Bowl's become? They have it on a Tuesday. The Pro Bowl's Tuesday next week. I looked it up. I was shocked. I was like, I have to look up when it is. Is it this weekend? Does it start at 6? Is it Sunday? Does it go through the weekend? It is so bad and so pathetic, Mike. It is literally Tuesday next week. The Pro Bowl is. Again, I'm not a fan of this. I think that you could do the bare minimum for the fans and the kids, but that's, again, just me. Do what you do. Let greed kill another thing. Just in my opinion.
I haven't watched the Pro Bowl in like.
Because you're not a kid. You're 45 years old. You shouldn't be watching
I haven't watched the Pro Bowl.
It's not for you.
I haven't watched the Pro Bowl since like my 20s.
It's not.
And it's been great. It's been great.
It's not. You know what?
I haven't lost a moment's sleep over it.
And you know what? I haven't watched Slam Dunk Contest in 20 years, but I love Slam Dunk Contest because I'm not a kid. These are for kids. Kids love this shit. And again, you're taking it from them. It shouldn't matter to you, me, anybody else. Again, that's who you're taking it from. At the end of the day, and I agree, Mike. It is Mike Phileas. It is shit, but it's not for you. When you were a kid, you sure liked it. You sure liked watching all the All-Stars getting together one time a year, watching them joke around, mess around, laugh, have a good time. It's not for us. That's just my opinion. Let's move on. Drake May is he can unseat Ben Roethlisberger, guys, in this Super Bowl this year by becoming the youngest quarterback. The youngest quarterback to win the Super Bowl. Of course, Big Ben has that right now. And Drake May has the opportunity not only to pass Big Ben, but pass the Pittsburgh Steelers with Super Bowl wins and unseat Ben from being the youngest quarterback ever. If this wasn't a Super Bowl that you don't want the Patriots to win if you're a Steeler fan, if there was one, this is it. Of course, you didn't want them getting close to us. Of course, you didn't want them tying us. Of course, you didn't want any of that. But this one right here, guys, you do not want this New England Patriots team winning the Super Bowl in less than 2 weeks. Again, Drake May could unseat Ben as the youngest quarterback ever to win. And they could ultimately pass us with 7 Super Bowls, guys. TC, I don't think that they're going to win as well. But you know what? What a crazy year this has been, and how crazy this league. And who even thought that Denver was going to be in the game to lose 10-7 against the New England team with their third-string quarterback who hasn't taken a snap all season, just one for a kneel down at the end of a game. So at the end of the day, who knows? Who knows? And again, Ty, I agree with you. I agree. In theory, this should be a Seattle walkaway. They should walk away with this football game. But by the way this year is going, can you say that there's been anything that's been normal about this football season? Just think about it for a little bit. Think about that for a while. It's hard to tell, Mike. And again, it's all about the money at the end of the day. So I think it's going to be closer than people think it's going to be.
I'm rooting hard for the Patriots. I'm going all in on New England.
All right, there you go. Mike is dumb as he looks. You see that, everybody. And he does have his face on the screen. So
I'm just in full on hater mode right now.
Yeah, that's all right. We're just going to keep moving along. Tater says this. ESPN ranked McCarthy hiring as no, they didn't. Tater, you literally have nothing, bro. And that's the best part about the Tater talk. He does continue to come back. And
the same ESPN that had us finishing dead last with a losing record.
Yeah. And you see how that went. We finished in first with the only winning record in the division, while everybody else in the division finished with losing records. So Tater,
and currently we have the best head coach in the division.
That's what they say. They say we literally have the best head coach in the division. And you know what? I don't know if I don't doubt it. Again, I clump him in with 2 other coaches. And again, I think he's going to be solid. I think he's going to be serviceable. I don't know if we're going to get what we want as fans as results. But if we do, more power to him, more power to his team, more power to everything. But at the end of the day, guys, it's going to take some showing. They're going to have to show us. We're going to have to see if this new head coach is able to move forward. Again, I find this was a huge opportunity to move forward as a football team. Kind of feels like we moved a little side to side. It feels like this was a lateral move in a sense to me. But again, will the addition of the offensive mind of Mike McCarthy? I continue to hear these an offensive guru, but at the end of the day, I'm still looking for all of his playoff wins and Super Bowl wins, and again, very, very comparable to Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh. Again, I do lump those three in together as, again, they just seem to have been passed by. That's why I'm a bit stumped by the hire. But again, at the end of the day, if it works out, it may be a stroke of genius. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen next, guys? People think they know. But again, this league is becoming more and more unpredictable as time goes on. I think we could all agree on that. I don't know quite why. I just know that they do call it sports entertainment now. I'm just going to throw that out there and leave that there for now as I do move on. Also, Mike, talking about people going to, set some records, of course. People have a chance to break things. This guy you liked, I just want to talk about him for a moment. I don't want to talk about Geno Smith. Geno Smith leaves the Seahawks, and they become the number 1 seed and go to the Super Bowl. He goes to the Raiders, and they finish dead last in the league and get the number 1 draft pick. Mike, should Geno Smith just hang it up and go? And again, and I didn't hate Geno Smith.
No.
But again, boy, did he just stink everywhere he went.
He had a nice little resurgence there for a while in Seattle, and then you can see, I think age finally caught up to him. He finally wrote back. It was a nice little success story. He was like the original Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Down on his luck, boom, and resurgent. Sam Darnold's the same way. Look, he's helping 2 franchises get to,
Right.
Look, he left, and then Seattle goes to the Super Bowl, and he goes to the Raiders and gets them the number 1 pick. He's helping franchises along the way. And as a Saint, he is a giver. But no, I always like Geno. I like you. You get drafted to the Jets, you're screwed. And he was a nice little rebound story right there. He's always seemed like a good dude. But yeah, I think it is time for Geno to hang it up. Or shit, dude, go be a backup quarterback, stand on the sidelines, make a couple $1,000,000 for the next couple years.
You know what? I got to get back to the board. I mean, there's so much going on the board, and I don't want to miss
They're flying
that.
in today,
and they're flying. And I do want to say welcome and thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome, as you always are. And welcome to all the newcomers and new faces, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Seeing some names that we know, obviously, some names we haven't seen in a while, and some brand new names. So, Mike, I'm going to take some time away from the notes and headlines just to get to what everybody's saying, because that's what it's all truly about, guys. You are the you are the lifeblood of the show, and I tell you that every day, and I mean it every day, guys. So let me go. I'm going to turn it over to the board, Mike, and we're going to let them do their thing for a while. So let me find where would be a nice place to start out, and we're going to do the best we can. Again, keep killing it, guys. We will read every comment today, no matter what, even if we don't get to them on the show. Which again, you guys are killing it today. So again, that's probably going to be the case. But I'm going to do my best to hang in there. I'm going to start right here when I'm going to go to Cody way back when Cody says, dang, Shador made the Pro Bowl and JPJ didn't. Kind of shows you what kind of a joke it truly is, I guess. John says Pro Bowl equals no credibility. Tortilla says, yeah, just popular. We know you don't mean you popular. That is to Tater, of course. Tater says that thanks. He says you salty. John Steeler Freak says this. Mike McCarthy is gonna have a hot dog eating contest at the kids events too. Let me scoot up. I'm right. I'm gonna go right here. What's up, Kenneth? Always great seeing the great Kenneth Jones on the terrible board. My man, Kenneth. I hope you're doing well, sir. Hope the shoveling went well for you. I know that it was hell on me. I'm still paying for it today. My body's starting to feel it. As again, right outside of our building, there's about a 50-yard driveway that Mike and I had to shovel yesterday, and I got to be honest with you, I'm feeling it today. But again, you know that I'm not complaining. I'm not sitting here begging for sympathy. I'm just throwing it out there, guys. And I know everybody else had to do it as well. But man, it was a rough one this time around. I almost forgot what it was like to have a bad winter. Let me move forward here. I'm going to go to Stephen A. Smith as a clown. I couldn't agree more. That is Cody who says this. Tortilla says Stephen A. called him a clown. Must be true. I wonder what Stephen A. says about the Browns. You don't even talk about the Browns. That's how bad it is up there. Steel Loyal, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Steel Loyal on the terrible board. He says, if you listen to Stephen A. Smith for your football news, you already I couldn't agree more. Talking about an ego. I mean, listen, he does have some hot takes, but that's kind of his game. He gets your attention by saying some outlandish things. And again, you know more about Stephen A. Smith than you know about his opinions, in my opinion. But Mike, this talk about Ryan Clark should have been the head coach. What do you think about that?
I had the same reaction Ryan Clark did when Stephen A said that.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Why don't we get AB? AB could be the offensive coordinator. Come on, let's have an all CTE team.
Stephen A. Smith was shitting on a team's defensive coordinator who hadn't coached all year, who was out with like some form of cancer.
Yeah,
like, this guy has no idea what's going on in the NFL.
RB says this McCarthy never had a team like the Killer Bees either. Let's not act like Dallas has a stable front office. And I agree. They have their problems too. But ultimately, wouldn't you say that his career kind of shaped up the same way as our last coach? And the same way that the coach from the Ravens went? So again, it's going to be interesting following these three coaches moving forward. I don't know if MT is going to do anything, but I do know that Harbaugh and McCarthy are certainly active this year. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to they're able to land on their feet, continue to stay solid moving forward, and continue to find ways to win. Again, 12-5. Mike McCarthy had 3 of those in a row in his last 5 seasons, I think, at Dallas. So again, a couple extra wins and maybe a playoff win, one more playoff win than Coach Tomlin had in that period, that decade. So how much did we really improve? I don't know. It seems to me ultimately it was more of a feel-good hire. I'm not saying that he's not good. And I'm not saying he's not going to help the offense. I'm not saying he's not going to develop our quarterback. But it really feels to me, with the way this league is moving, it felt like a feel-good hire, Mike.
You put it that way, yeah, it does. But for me, I have none of that hometown sentiment stuff. I actually prefer when they hire people who aren't from here or draft players who aren't from here.
Why is that?
Because I hate oh my God, they're from here. Then everyone loves them.
So you don't like Joey Porter Jr. being here?
He's playing well, but like when guys who don't play well,
no, we're not talking about that. Now, come on,
you got to be like,
you can't move the field goal post, as you like to put it.
Why you talk like it's like Bednar when he was sucking? Yeah, but he's from here. You should support him. No, he sucks. Get rid of him. I don't care.
We said fire him. No, we were on board with firing David Bednar.
But there's a lot of fans who.
Well, wait a minute. All the pass interferences and no interceptions and all this stuff. So
hey, man, lockdown corner, baby, lockdown corner.
You're a homer just as much as anybody. Don't give me your bullshit.
But I'm the homer that will say, hey, if you suck, it's time to get the fuck out of here. Go.
And again, I'm just proving Ty. Of course, I love JPJ. I'm just proving the point to Mike because he is as big as homer as anybody else, and he comes off like he's not. I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to deal with it here. Let's move forward here. TC says Tomlin killed the culture. What culture? I don't know. I don't know what that's referring to. If I could find it in just a moment, I could certainly respond to that. Cody says, I don't care who the coach is. I just don't like him because you guys do. RV says this. I wanted a young whiz kid. Right. A young whiz kid. I think that's a good way to put it. RB says this. I wanted a young whiz kid, but the more I've thought about it, Tomlin killed the culture. Okay, I see. Someone needs to rebuild. I think winning, moving forward, progressing, giving your team a chance. I'm not saying that Tomlin didn't give us a chance. I'm just saying when you played a team with a good defense, you knew you probably wasn't going to win. As when we played the Chargers, who weren't that good of a team. You've seen that in the playoffs. First round to get eliminated, they had a top 5 defense. We got destroyed. Houston with their top defense, we got destroyed. Seattle with their top defense, we got destroyed. For years, if we played a team that had something that was just better than everybody else, we have no chance. And I think the culture that maybe is being talked about is just expecting more, possibly when we kind of fell into that in that gray area. Again, never having a losing season, it is an accomplishment. You can't take that away from somebody. But at the end of the day, you need more. You need more. You need to progress and find ways to win the games that you lost, the games that you lose. And again, 10 years of the same exact results in January, I don't think we did that. I don't think we figured out ways to win the games that we lost, because at the end of the day, you weren't surprised when any of these teams with good defenses beat us this year. You just weren't. And again, you can say the Steelers offense stinks, whatever, but go back how many years? I mean, even with the guys, the Killer Bees, we didn't win any Super Bowls and have that greatest success with these guys either. So I think moving forward and progressing as a football team is the culture. I think that's what I want to believe that it's about. Beyond that, maybe I'm wrong, but again, at the end of the day, I like to get back to where every year we get a little better. Every year we get a little closer to the goal. Every year when it hasn't been that way, guys. We've been running in mud for quite some time and winning close games. And when we lose, we win by 3, we lose by 20. That culture's got to change. Again, you want to resemble a good football team at some point. The things that's been happening with our team has not resembled what good football teams do for some time. I'm hoping, as everybody else is hoping, that the new coach can come in and make those changes. But again, we don't know. We don't know if that's what's going to happen. And again, a lot of people not happy, but this is where we be, guys. And we're just 45 minutes away from Mike McCarthy being introduced as the new Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, guys. 2:00 today, he will be introduced as the new Steelers head coach. Let me move forward here a little bit. So I hope that answer, as far as I believe, TC, that's what I would like to think that it's about. But again, some people, I don't know what's going on through their minds. But I am going to move on. Tortilla say, Tater, just join the dark side already, would you? Nobody likes the Browns. I don't know what they tell you over there in England or Ireland or Scotland or whatever the hell wherever the hell you're from. I don't know what they tell you, but the Browns are a joke here. People laugh at them. Tater. Let's see. Tommy Strings. What up, bro? Always great seeing Tommy Strings on the Terrible Board. Welcome back. Welcome to the Terrible Board. He says, it's been shoveling snow like everyone. I agree. Last year to clear walks for my condo complex. Big effing mistake. 17 hours of shoveling. Last 2 days. Too old for this shit. Hope you are dealing with it okay. I think we're going to survive. I thought yesterday I was going to die. But today I think I'm going to survive. I think I'm going to recover. Mike, how about you, man? You feeling it today?
I'm feeling good, man. I felt good like after it. I was worried about you. I thought your vision was going. You looked you actually had color on your face.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about. Once the color got to your face, I was like, my man ain't pale no more. I was worried. You look like a living human being.
It wasn't good.
It was not a pretty sight.
I almost looked human, and it was terrible. I hated it. But I'm going to move on. Tortilla says this. We probably bombed and just got the news out first. You're right on the, of course, the interviews. John says Ryan has to be a little positive, saying this team. Exactly. At the end of the day, I can't scare everybody away and say I think that this is the most terrible thing ever, and we're going to be terrible, and we're never going to win again. So, I do. I try to stay neutral in the whole process, guys. As we move forward. Steel Loyal says this. Mike McCarthy about to have Pat McAfee on the sideline singing. Let me scoot up here a little bit. Damn, Mike, squeaky clean, Tommy Strings is saying, with those 5 showers a day.
Damn straight, man. Damn straight. You got to smell good for all the lot lizards.
Oh, the lot lizards don't smell good. I don't know why you want to smell good.
Oh, when you want them to get to certain areas, brother, you got to smell good.
Let's see. Raiders DC, F and L. That's what I'm saying. The Raiders DC. And that's even Tater. You scoot up here. Hey, these guys are killing, baby. All right, Mike Phileas. I do want to say welcome to you as well, Phileas on the Terrible Board. He was when he did say that the Pro Bowl has been shit, and I couldn't agree more. And again, I don't think it's for us, and it never has been for us. I don't know. What do I know?
Ryan's going to do a 4-hour show one day on the Pro Bowl, and it's going to be glorious.
It'll be on Tuesday when the Pro Bowl actually is. I'll do it during the Pro Bowl on Tuesday next week.
Do it on a Wednesday.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for joining us. Great to have you. TC says, I don't think the Patriots are going to. You know what? I don't either. But again, what a weird year. What a strange, odd year. We appreciate that still. Algorithm is that rules, bro. Thank you so much. Let me scooting here along. Mark Malone, what's up, dude? Always great seeing great Mark Malone on the Terrible Board. Mark says, makes me no different. We need to start winning these MFers again. I agree. I mean, things have to change because here's the thing. We complained and cried and bitched and moaned and chanted and called for the guy's head. So I at least want to do well by Coach T, because again, if we're going to get the same exact results, what was it all about? What was it all about? So I don't want to continue to run in place. I hope that we can move forward. Again, Coach didn't get fired. He stepped away. And again, to show that that we maybe we didn't like his job. Here's the thing, that it was never about the guy. I always liked the guy, and at the end of the day, it's his job. We just need to get better and move forward and win football games when they matter. And again, quit winning by 3 and losing by 20. That would be nice. So some of the things that just became trend over the past decade, I'd like to see us moving in the right direction. To me, that's what culture means. That's what the Steeler culture is. Again, finding ways to winning football. And of course, everybody's not going to always win. I understand that. Ryan, you can't be spoiled. Everybody can't always win. Well, no shit. But you know what? We can win sometime, right? 10 years again without playoffs. Most teams have had playoff wins between the last time we had a win and now. That tells you something. That's what I'm talking about. The Pittsburgh Steelers shouldn't be bringing up the rear. They just shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. Not certainly over a decade period of time. That's crazy. And we shouldn't accept it. And again, that's why we gave hell. And that's why we expressed our opinion. So again, I think this is why people are confused. I think this is why people don't quite know what to make, again, of this Mike McCarthy hiring, because a lot of people, I think, Mike, they do put him in that same category. If you look at their records, you look at their tenures, you look at their playoffs, you look at their percentages, they're almost the same guy. So again, just a very, very interesting pickup. And I'm not going to be against it at the end of the day. As when Tomlin came, I said, this is my coach. Is when Aaron Rodgers, and I hated the idea of Aaron Rodgers coming last year. He was my quarterback, and he ended up doing far better than I actually thought he was going to do. So at the end of the day, this guy's going to be my coach as well, Mike McCarthy. He's a home, and again, it helps that he is a home guy. I like it. I don't care what anybody says. It's neat. Who doesn't want somebody from your own neighborhood being involved and on TV and representing your team and your city and all that? And I get that. And that's why I didn't give people problems for liking Tomlin. I don't give people problems for this. I get those things. You like who you like, whatever. But at the end of the day, the one thing that is important is moving this. You're right, TC. Life is a journey, not a destination. There's not a piece of life that's a destination. It's all part of the journey, baby. It's all part of the journey. Let's move on here. Tommy String says not a good resume for Geno. Of course, Geno Smith, going back to that. I think making the decision to go to West Virginia initially was probably where his bad fortune started. Luckily, the guy made money. He'll be able to live nice, and that's at the end of the day, that's what's going to be nice. But all the others, everything else about Geno Smith, I was never a huge fan. And again, I'm a Pitt guy, so a guy from West Virginia, never. Besides for Frazier, maybe Amos Zerodaway back 15, 20 years ago. But besides for that, never really a West Virginia guy. Nothing against him. I just don't like him. Mark Malone says, isn't Darnold only like 20? Yes, he is only like 27. He's only 27.
Feels like Darnold's been in the league for like 12 years, though.
That's what happens when you work your way up. Not everybody can be gifted as
Yeah, I'm like, what I'm going to say, it's going to sound like a knock, but it's not. Like, he's finally playing like the 3rd overall pick. It just took 7 years of development, but he got there.
And one thing that I want to say too, might sound like I'm digging, he got to the Super Bowl before Allen and before Lamar Jackson, who were both in that same draft as well. So I just want to throw that out there. Sam Darnold is in the Super Bowl before Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, both from that same draft.
That's wild.
It is wild. These are the MVPs, Mike. And this guy was the guy that I wanted last year, and everyone said I was crazy. You don't want him. Listen, he had a good season. He blows whenever it comes down to it. He doesn't win the big games. Well, you know what? Give the guy a chance. He has a chance to win the Super Bowl. And again, while Allen and Lamar Jackson, one more time,
That's enough.
home watching from the couch. I do want to say, Alan Steele, first-time listener. Good job, Steelers fan from Hershey. We're glad to have you, Alan. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Terrible Board. I'm glad to have you, man. Just learning says Sanders. What the F? Let me scoot up here a little bit. Again, I know that I'm spot picking my comments, and again, it's because you guys are effing awesome, and I couldn't do it any other way. Or I could be here for the next 9 hours and just read everyone, which I would not mind doing, but I don't want to bore the hell out of you. But I will. I do always read every single comment every day, guys. Thank you so much. These are amazing, good or bad. Keep them coming. TC says Stephen A is a fake. I agree. He is what he is. And you know what? He's really good at what he is, but he makes a lot of money doing what he does. But at the end of the day, that is what Stephen A. Smith is. Kenneth says Darnold and Drake May proves the right system works for the right quarterbacks. I agree. Still Loyal says, laugh my ass off. Ryan Clark, head coach. AB, offensive coordinator. And of course, Devo. Devo would be the defensive coordinator on that team. How could it be any other way? Or even Vontae's Perfect. Vontae's Perfect. There was, I don't remember if it was a meme or a joke or something I seen over the past week. I heard that Vontae's Perfect was interested in the defensive coordinator position for the Steelers. Of course, you remember the big rivalry between Vontae's Perfect and the Bengals in our Steelers quite a few years back. Can you imagine him? Can you imagine him in your locker room, like trying to get everybody fired up? All right, Mike.
That would be crazy.
Wouldn't that be wild?
Fucking Vontez Perfect. God damn. People would beat him over the head with their helmets and hide his body.
Ty says, don't bait me, Ryan. Of course, I think that was going back to the JPJ talk. And you know how I feel about JPJ. I love JPJ. He was Ike Taylor reincarnated. And again, at the end of the day, is there better? Yes. But he's a damn good corner. He's a damn good shutdown. He put him on number ones all the time. He lets up one touchdown a year. He's Ike Taylor 2.0. If you liked Ike, you're going to like JPJ. And I do like JPJ. TC. I'm sorry. Let me grab RB. RB always gets something good. RB says, no, I don't think they're similar. Tomlin has done the same exact thing for 15 years. McCarthy has constantly evolved his offense and brings the game plans. McCarthy has, I mean, yes, he does have he has a better coaching tree. I give him that. But at the end of the day, their records are the same. Our coaches is better. So I don't know. I respectfully disagree, RB, but great point. At the end of the day, Tomlin's record was better. And at the end of the day, they have the same amount of Super Bowl wins. They have the same everything. That's why I put them together. TC says, remember when the Steelers won 4 Super Bowls? They didn't have social media as a distraction. You know? It's probably going to destroy us all eventually. The internet, technology. That's another day, another show. Let's move forward. St. Christopher 1155. I do want to say this. So happy to be starting the post-Tallman era. Welcome to the terrible board. Welcome to the show, St. Christopher. Glad to have you. A lot of people feel that way. And I think maybe more people would feel that way a little bit more had we made a different direction. But again, I'm not going to say this is a failure. I think we're going to land on our feet. I truly do. I think we're a strong enough organization to do that. And again, I think the 9 to 8 to 12 win range is going to be the range for the Steelers. That's just, it's, again, Mike McCarthy was able to get 12-5 seasons in 3 of his last 5 years. Tomlin, it fluctuated, of course. He stayed above 500. I don't see that changing much. Being able to score points, being able to get points on the board, staying more competitive because you could score points, and maybe, just maybe, getting this quarterback that we drafted a little bit later in the draft could turn into, another one of these other late draft quarterbacks who've been successful. And then nobody comes to my head. Maybe Tom Brady in the 6th round, Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy. Again, not what I think everybody else thinks he is, but he was still relevant enough to be successful. He was the last quarterback picked in that draft, or the last player, something like this. So at the end of the day, things can work out. And we have ample time to bitch, moan, complain, give you every, go look at every aspect of it. Will it be successful? Will it not be successful? We have ample time to do that, and we're going to. I'm sure you're going to hear it all over the media, all over the news. But the fact of the matter is today, guys, our new head coach is being introduced in 32 minutes here in Pittsburgh at the Acrisure Stadium, guys, in the Champions Club. It's going to be at the PNC Champions Club at Acrisure Stadium today, 2 o'clock. Omar Khan and Art Rooney II will be introducing Mike McCarthy as the 4th head coach in the Super Bowl era, guys. That is happening today. We're all hoping for the best. We all have our doubts. We all have, maybe what we kind of wanted, hoped for. At the end of the day, this isn't the worst, but there's a lot of questions that will be answered, certainly, as he continues to hire, starts to hire, continues to hire, gets his coordinators, gets his assistants, gets people in place, gets a scheme in place, and gets his players that he wants, gets rid of the guys that he don't want. Jonnu Smith got to go. Things like this. A lot of things, guys, are going to happen between now and September. We're here for it, guys. We're here all year around talking Steelers. And you know what? That doesn't change. We're going to talk Steelers all the way to the Super Bowl. If that's what it be, that's what we're gonna do, guys. But so much again tonight. Tonight is the East-West 101st East-West Shrine Bowl. That is 7 o'clock tonight on NFL Network. Saturday is the Senior Bowl, also on the NFL Network. You might want to keep an eye on those guys. Again, some of these names might be guys that you see later in the draft where you're like, why do we grab this guy? An inside linebacker from Georgia Community College. You might see something that you learn on these next couple games, guys, tonight and then on Saturday. Yep. You might see somebody that you say, wow, you know what? That's why we took him. I liked what I seen. He's overlooked. He's underappreciated. And that's why these kind of games are important, Mike. Ty says Shrine Bowl, we scout, and that's right. All kind of guys down there, all kind of guys. Senior Bowl on your birthday. That's right, Tyrone. You do got the big birthday on Saturday, brother. We'll celebrate more on Friday. How's that? We'll celebrate more on Friday. I definitely got to do something for Ty. Love the Ty. Ty is the GOAT. And we will celebrate him on Friday for his birthday coming on Saturday. The big 2-5, if I'm not mistaken, for Ty. Let me scoot up a little bit further here. Steel Loyal says rename the stadium back to Heinz Field. Would be the only change I made to the stadium. Ty says this 45 minutes, guys. I'm excited to see what he says and questions. And I think this is going to be it's going to be formal. They're going to introduce him. He's going to come in and say some nice things and blah, blah, blah. But it is what it is, guys. We are getting our new head coach today, officially. Steeler freak John all the way from Las Vegas says this. He says Derpy is the halftime show at the Shriner Bowl.
Oh, those poor kids. They suffer enough.
Pip cheerio is what Steel Loyal is saying. Let me see. I'm trying to grab a couple names maybe that I didn't grab so far. I don't want to leave anybody out. I truly don't. As you know, here in the show, I try to read every single comment every day. I truly honestly do. So I do apologize if I don't get to yours, but again, I will see every comment as I do every day. Mike Felias says that I think it depends on the coordinators as well. Board's on fire, Tyrone. I couldn't agree more. Skiller Freak says Ryan has Derpy in a speed reading class to help him with the chat. He failed the first time. TC says this Heinz Field is where it's supposed to be. When we lose, we don't blame Mike. We just reload. And that's what I'm saying. There's no blame, no nothing. Just keep moving forward. You know? Yes, Coach Noel won Super Bowls in the 70s, but you know what? His 80s was terrible. They lost. The Browns finished ahead of us under the tenure of Chuck Noll. So at the end of the day, it's history is history. We have 3 great coaches that's been here a long time that won a lot of football games, obviously. And that's just where we be, guys. It's time to make that next step. It's time to turn the page. And today, here in just 28 minutes, we're going to do that as Mike McCarthy will be talking to the media for the first time as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Guys, today, let me scoot up here. Where is the current Heinz Field now? The current Heinz Field is in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, RMAC. It's true. Aliquippa, as their football field, is now Heinz Field. Steel Loyal says, I couldn't imagine being Finns fans. Ay. Talking about a bad team. The Finns, they had that one good season in 72, basically. I think they've won one playoff game this century. I think.
That's their history.
That's a history. So, yeah, I mean, we think we have it bad.
They wasted Dan Marino.
And you had the all-time winning coach ever, Don Shula. And Dan Marino, arguably one of the best quarterbacks, and still and they won back in that day. You got to be honest with you. Again, the only team to go undefeated, albeit just a 14-0 record. Again, they only had 14 game seasons in 1972. Scoot up here a little bit. Patriots had only had a 7-year window between Super Bowls. They're the best team in the NFL. Still loyal Pats fans wouldn't know the struggle. RMAX says this, compare Sean Payton with McCarthy, and you could say they are the same guy. And you know what? Sean Payton, after just a few years, and he made his changes. He took his lumps. He had Russell Wilson come in. That stunk. He moved past it. He got his young kid, his Bo Nix, built. And again, just 3 points from going to the Super Bowl. So, again, say what you want about the older coaches. I mean, yes, it makes sense. You want to get somebody a little younger to keep up with the league, but at the end of the day, I can't say that Sean Payton's doing a terrible job. And again, that's similar to the situation with our coach in age. Anyway, 49 days younger. 49 days younger. Sean Payton is than Mike McCarthy. Joey Rico, I want to say welcome back to the Terrible Board, Joey Rico. Joey Rico, he asks, when is the press conference for Mike McCarthy? It's 2 o'clock. We have roughly 26 minutes until Mike McCarthy does get initiated, if you will, as he's introduced by Colin and Rooney. And this is going to be at 2 o'clock in the PNC Champions Club at Acrisure Stadium, guys, coming up here in less than a half an hour. Let me scoot up. Scoot. Little Jets talk here. Let me jump in and see what's going on with the Jets. Mike Felias says this. Well, the Jets were a trash organization. Of course, I think that's going back to the Geno Smith and probably the Aaron Donald conversation. John says the Jets record and the Steelers record for the past decade are the same to me. Tater. Let's get on this. Let Tater talk for once. Tater says this. What enrages me, and when I read Tater's, I don't even read it in English because he's over in the United Kingdom, and he refuses to tell us what country he's from over there in the United Kingdom. But I don't hear that accent. I hear this. This is what I hear when I think of a Browns fan, and this is what I say when I read his comments. Tater says this. What enrages me, because again he's a Browns fan. What enrages me is Vrabel in the building, and it's not the first time we've done that. What enrages me is we had Vrabel in the building. Bro, I don't even know what that means. I'm trying, Tater. I truly am. Again, Tater is our resident Browns fan from across the pond. Nobody knows why he's still here, but you know what? We'll take it. Whatever, Tater. We'll, come over to the dark side, I guess, like it was said earlier on the board. And I think that's ultimately what he's getting at. Zach Stone, what's up? Always great seeing Zach Stone on the Terrible Board. Welcome. He says, I think Mike McCarthy was a move not to tear it all down. You know what? And I think you're ultimately right. Let me finish Zach's comment here. He says, I think Mike McCarthy was a move not to tear it all down. The players aren't bad. Still have a few holes, but not terrible coaching was the biggest issue. And you know what? I think ultimately you're right, because they wanted to kind of keep this going. And if you could pick up where Mike T left off, bring in an offense and change things for the better and make your team competitive again, that makes sense. If you're tearing down to scratch and starting over, then the other guys perhaps might have seemed like they made more sense. But again, at the other end of the day, I don't know why it didn't get into the interviews with these guys from the Rams. Again, they lost on Sunday. We hired McCarthy on Saturday. So that's kind of what confuses me, and I think people as well, why we just didn't wait to bring these guys in to talk to them. And again, no, they weren't beating down the door to get Mike McCarthy. One team, the Tennessee Titans, were the only other team that was interested in Mike McCarthy. So I don't know. I'm feeling this all out just like everybody else is. And again, you turn on the Pittsburgh media, they'll confuse the shit out of you. They tell you they know what they're talking about. They honestly don't. It ends up being wrong anyway. But we're going to find out, guys. And I think ultimately you're right. Maybe it's just because they want to keep this thing going. And Mike Tomlin said this after they booed him. After they booed him on that Monday Night Football game. Or no, when was it? It was when Buffalo ran for 250 yards. And they were booing him at home. He says, it's entertainment, and Steelers fans, the way you entertain them is by winning. So, do you take a step back by going and totally rebuilding, or do you kind of keep this thing that's kind of, again, we're average, a little better than average. Maybe an offensive mind comes in, finds ways to score points, get you over the hump, win some January games. Maybe that's the thought process. And then if this doesn't work out, he's on a 5-year contract. Maybe let's say he doesn't work out 5 years. Then we kind of go with some of these other names, look at other young names at the time, maybe bringing people in now that are some of these names that you're interested in as coordinators, and you watch it play out. And perhaps in 5 years, you like what you see from this offensive coordinator or this defensive coordinator who's been with you the whole time, who knows the way things have been running, and then they can continue to move forward, hopefully adding their flair and bringing success. So, at the end of the day, you don't know, but these are all possible. They all seem like they make a lot of sense when you look at it that way. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. Here we are. We have a new head coach, guys, being introduced here in Pittsburgh in just 21 minutes. Guys, Mike McCarthy to be introduced here at the PNC Champions Club at Acrisure Stadium, 2 o'clock today. Omar Khan, Art Rooney II will be in the house. Guys, today is the next day of the rest of the next part of the Steeler chapter, guys. We've seen how it's played out this far. We've seen how it played out since the 67, Super Bowl 1, all the way to Super Bowl 60. Now it's time to see how it's going to play out 61 and beyond, guys. Again, today, Mike McCarthy getting introduced as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is coming up in just 21 minutes at Acrisure Stadium. Let me stay on the board here. Yinzer Joe says this. I don't know. I think if Lamar and Allen or even Burrow were on I do too. I do too. You know what? I do too. If Lamar, Allen, or Burrow, Mike, was in Seattle, I think one of those guys could be heading to the Super Bowl this week.
I think so too.
It's just unfortunately it's just not how it played out.
On a team that actually had an offensive line and a defense.
You got to figure Burrow did go to the Super Bowl. So say what you want about the other guys.
He did.
Everyone goes on and on about the Allen and Jackson, about these MVP candidates. But at the end of the day, Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl. And Sam Darnold is also going to the Super Bowl. So, again, you never know. You never know in sports entertainment. That's what they've been telling us in wrestling for decades, right? That is where sports entertainment
yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
And I thought I just had about McCarthy. Ooh. Maybe he has that latter day run like Andy Reid did. The end of the career run and win a couple Super Bowls. It could happen.
I mean, it's they're just two different. They're two different.
We gotta hope for it.
I mean, if you're kind of hoping for the same, the trajectory, the path. I mean, that's one thing. But again, at the end of the day, Andy Reid has been taking his teams to the championship games his whole life. Again, 4 straight with Philadelphia in the early 2000s, getting into the Super Bowl, losing to New England in that. And then again, after a little bit of a time down, he goes to the Kansas City and he picks right back up where he left off. Then able to win. The Kansas City's been in every single AFC championship game for like 30 years, it seems like. So again, to have that kind of success, I think is a little stretch. But at the end of the day, maybe Mike, that's kind of where you're shooting for, is just you hoping he could pick back up and hit the ground running and maybe get a little success. So we will learn. We're going to learn a lot about this football team over the next, certainly over the next year, Mike.
Oh yeah, a whole hell of a lot. Hopefully, they just like I said on the board, man. There is a foundation in place because they've been working on that foundation ever since Omar took over him and Weedle, and they've been building and building. And this would be the draft you thought we would get our quarterback. And no, maybe we got our guy last year in the draft in the 6th round. They said we get those last finishing pieces to the puzzle, let him go out there and play. And just that might be the best course of action because you don't know what you have until you see it out there, and just let it go and let the chips fall where they may.
Again, the oldest coach that the Pittsburgh Steelers ever hired. This is the oldest coach. They generally go young. They keep them for some time, which tells me that this also has a different game plan of what we generally know by the Steelers and the way that they run things, Mike. So again, I wouldn't jump off any bridges if you don't like Mike McCarthy. Again, if this doesn't play well, I could see it totally being revised, switched, changed around, maybe bringing other people. Again, keep very, very important. It's going to be very important to keep an eye on who we do bring in and who we do hire as coordinators, because I think that could also start to, in an underlying way, answer some of those questions, Mike, as things start to move forward. Dick Vermeil was the guy. Thank you, Lightning Rod. I do want to say welcome back to Lightning Rod on the Terrible Board. Great to have you. Nice seeing you on the show. Also, let's see. Kenneth says our improvement is based on all the coaching. Absolutely. The assistants, there's a lot, guys. We're going to learn a lot. And again, this is just the next chapter of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not going to be the last chapter. It's not the first chapter. And probably in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever the case, maybe we're going to be doing it all over again and maybe bringing in somebody we like better. And so the best thing that I could say now is this is what it is. We have a new guy getting introduced in 17 minutes. And at the end of the day, it is what it is, and it's where we are. And some people didn't like Tom, and some people didn't like Cowher, some people didn't even like Noel. back then. It be what it be. We love our Steelers. We love our black and gold no matter what. At the end of the day, we want to get better as time goes on and find ways to win in January, find ways to bring the gold home, and all the things that you want to do that we've come accustomed to in the past. We've been better than anybody else. And I'm going to prove why here in just in a second. We are not only better than New England, but we are, because they lost 6 Super Bowls. That means you listen, and people go, well, they made it. No, they lost. How often do we celebrate Buffalo's 4 straight Super Bowls? Never. You laugh at it because it's a joke. I never think about the Green Bay time we lost, or brag about the Dallas Super Bowl we lost. They're saturated guys. They lost. They could possibly lose more than they win if they keep continuing on the same path. And again, I think that saturates their records, and it just kind of puts the Steelers just a little bit higher, in my opinion. Yes, we didn't get there all those extra times, but you know what? They lost every time they got there. And at the end of the day, a loss is a loss is a loss is a loss. Nobody remembers the losses, guys. So just keep saturating, keep getting in there and losing New England, as I hope they do, because they will fall to 6-6 next Sunday. If they do fall to the Seattle Seahawks, they'll fall to 6-6 all time in the Super Bowl, guys. And again, that's a little saturated to me. That doesn't look great. Yes, they made it, but sometimes you'd rather not make it than to make it and lose. And at the end of the day, Pittsburgh's still sitting pretty with 6-2 in the Super Bowl, guys. That's right, baby. Steeler Freak says this. It is 7:37 p.m. there. Tater's pissed. It's 7:37 over in Tater World across the pond. Kenneth says Porter worked hard and changed a lot. Stats don't lie. And I love Porter. And listen, I'm a homer. Of course I wanted JPJ here. His dad helped us win a Super Bowl. His dad helped us win the first Super Bowl in 25 years. Of course I wanted his son here. Is it logical? I don't know. Am I a homer? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I do like JPJ. He's improved. And again, he's Ike Taylor 2.0, and I can't say that's a bad thing. You'd like to rent him a pair of hands or something, but at the end of the day, he's serviceable. He does his job. He doesn't let up touchdowns, and his penalties are down. And again, improving all the time, Mike.
Yep.
Skipper Freak says this.
Penalties are going down. Teams are starting to target away from him.
Absolutely. A couple other things here, guys. The Texans safety Bullock, he's to replace Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey also is not going to be going to the Pro Bowl, guys. So anybody that did get elected and selected to go to the Pro Bowl, probably not going to be there. The Texans safety Bullock is going to be taking Ramsey's spot, guys, as that takes place 1 week from today. Are you saying it's midweek, Ryan? Yes. The Pro Bowl has become so it's become so unimportant, guys. They're playing it on a Tuesday of the week of the Super Bowl. So there you go. Do what you want with that. You know where I stand on that. My couple of questions about some of these quarterbacks we're certainly going to be looking at as time gets closer to the draft. A lot of people were bringing up Trinidad Chambliss yesterday on the board, the kid from Ole Miss. And also, Mike, what about Garrett Newsomer? He was a big topic. I know that you liked him from LSU prior to the season. Of course, we like the kid from South Carolina. A few other guys we had our eyes on. Like they're not anywhere mentioned in any first round kind of draft. Yeah. So any of these guys logical? Would they be a logical pick for the Steelers? Is going out and grabbing a young quarterback maybe to play behind Will Howard, maybe having as a safety net behind Will Howard, maybe even possible being the guy eventually. Mike, any thought on those? Any of these other young quarterbacks that not everybody's talking about?
I'm not Nussmeier. I was like, all right, let's keep an eye on him. He did not impress this year.
He didn't. That's what
he did not. He looked bad. His measurables just came out at the Senior Bowl. He's like 6'1", 6'2", 208 pounds. He's going to get destroyed in the NFL. Trinidad Chambliss, he's a fun college quarterback to watch play. I don't think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. He was trying to get another year of eligibility back in college. I think he knows this is the end of the line for him. So neither of those two guys right there. Don't get me wrong. Chambliss was fun to watch this year at Ole Miss, but I don't think his skill set is going to translate to the NFL.
Mike, do you think we touch a quarterback in the draft? Be it first, second, third, fourth, 25th, whatever the case may be.
If there's someone that's falling that a lot of people thought should go higher, that had a decent college career, has good measurables, good mechanics, maybe you snag him up. But I think this is the year they finally finish flushing out the roster. I think they're going to roll with Will Howard, rightly or wrongly. They may have identified him as the guy, and like that's who they're going to roll with, and
you
they're going to build around him.
And the guys are giving me hell. The thing is, I've never pronounced the name correctly in my life. But here they are. Here they are. They're giving me Nussmeyer. So Nussmeyer is in going down to one of the Bingo's comments. A couple comments later, quarterback take a dude from Tulane. Late, forget his name, something Burger. You know what? We thought Roethlisberger was a goofy kind of name. We all wanted Peyton, or we all wanted Eli Manning, or we knew how good Phillip Rivers was. And when we got this Roethlisberger character, nobody was quite happy. So maybe something, a Roethlisberger, a Nussmeyer, one of these names that catch you off guard might be the guy that just comes in, Mike. And again, Ben obviously being the best quarterback in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, certainly top 10 of all time. Something Burger, something Meyer. They don't sound like they would be great football players, but at the end of the day, Big Ben did us well. TC says Dick Vermeil winning the Super Bowl at 63 years old. Lightning Rod 7 says Dick Vermeil. Tyron, we need offense, brother. Defense is just fine. Is it though? Is it right? Well, you know what? And at the end of the day, I guess, because if the offense ain't doing nothing, it's only hurting the defense. So maybe if we do have offense, that defense would have been okay. But letting up 250 yards to the Bills, that wasn't fine. Letting those Bengal receivers just murder us in the first game we played against them. We do need we have issues on defense as well. It's an aging defense. It's an overpaid defense. And again, it's a defense that probably isn't living up to its what we would like it to be. So again, I think that the need for an improvement in defense is certainly there as well. Yes, the offense will make that better because you're going to keep the defense off the field. But there's a lot of good reasons why I think that the defense certainly needs some tender love and care as well. Because again, you give up 250 yards to the Buffalo Bills on the ground, and at the end of the day, you're expecting Josh Allen to beat you when you're playing Buffalo, and they come to your stadium and they run for 250 yards. So again, I think we need a little bit of help everywhere. Let's see. Let's go right here. Lightning Rod says, how jealous would women be if Steelers hired Caitlin Clark? Caitlin Clark. I do like Caitlin Clark, but where'd that come from?
Lightning Rod has a lot of hot takes flying on in the board right now.
All right. That's all right. Let's see. Lightning Rod says this Boston has good sports teams, and it is God's will. Tortilla says Angel Reese is defensive coordinator. Hey, you know what? Nobody's paying attention to that league over there anymore. Why not bring them over here? Give them some work. Give them some jobs. Let's see how they could do. Somber says oftentimes coaches and players put on new team colors, and it takes a minute for them to feel comfortable. But if you were blessed beyond measure, one day you put on the colors you've worn since, and at the end of the day, that too, he is, maybe it means more. Maybe it means more to Mike McCarthy than it did to Mike Tomlin to win a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh. Sometimes that's something. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of throwing it all out there. But maybe it means more. Maybe it'll be a little bit more special for Mike McCarthy. And, maybe he goes the extra mile sometime where Mike Tomlin didn't, just for an example. So, again, I don't rule that out. I do like the hometown part of it. I do like all that. And, again, if he wins, it just makes it even sweeter. And, when Coach Cowher won, it was a sweet thing, man. Everybody really embraced and celebrated together here in Western Pennsylvania, and it was a special thing. And I would love to see that happen again. There it is. Newssimmer. There you go. Newsmeyer. Sorry about that. You know me with names, guys. You know this, man. Lightning. Let me scoot up here. Right there. Bingo. Quarterback. Take the dude from Tulane. Okay. Something Burger got that one. Steeler freak Tyler Shuck was second round. I'd take him. Jen. Always great seeing Jen on the board. Jen, we're just 7 minutes away. 7 minutes away from the Steelers. They are introducing their new head coach, of course, Mike McCarthy from Greenfield, Pennsylvania. Just about 10 minutes from the stadium, guys, he is from, and they'll be introducing him here shortly in less than 10 minutes. Great to see Jen on the terrible board. Hope all is well for you. I know it gets cold up in Wisconsin for you, Jen, and I hope everything is going well. Lightning Rod says Cuban quarterback Fernando Mendoza is a sign of the times. Oh, jeez. I would love to have him. I don't know. He seemed pretty damn good to me, guys, from what I've seen this season. Again, it's hard to tell. It's hard to translate from college to pro, but everything I've seen checked for me at least. Tommy String says, hey, Jen, always great seeing Jen. Hope all is well with her. Tortilla, I thought he was just a white boy named Fernando. Damn.
So did I, Tortilla. So did I.
Is it more right? Is it more impressive that he's not? I don't know, but let's move on a little bit here. Atlantis will be part of Cuba in the next world. LOL. Who knows what the hell is going on the world stage? Matter of fact, I do my best to stay away from it. I'm going to be honest with you. What a disaster! What a disaster is going on and around this world. It's not just this, that, or the other. There's a lot of craziness going on around us, guys. Nussmeyer is when a Steeler fan teabags a Browns fan's girlfriend at a Browns home game after a pick six. That is game ball material, John. John, Steeler Freak, 1964 from Las Vegas. You did get the game ball for today on the board. Nussmeyer is when a Steeler fan teabags a Browns fan's girlfriend at a home game after a pick six. I love it, John. You got the game ball on the board. Tortilla says, in DK is when you smack a blue hair bitch in the face. Jeez. A couple of things that the Steelers are going to do moving forward, and I think that they should and will. Does the new coaching staff come in and get rid of Jonnu Smith, Mike?
I hope so.
Is there any way or reason at all that makes any sense to keep Jonnu Smith here another day longer? Is there anything that you've seen from him? I seen a jet sweep, Mike, in week 1 against the Jets that he scored a touchdown. Let me say that one more time, against the Jets in week 1. And then also he made a first down catch at about week 11. Yeah. It was actually beneficial. Take those 2 plays out. There was not one thing about Jonnu Smith I liked. Everything I heard coming from coming from Miami, I expected to be at least better than it was. Yeah. What a waste of time. Again, kind of all just fell in the way the season went last year. He is some of the access fat, Mike, you need to cut off. Jonnu Smith, is he around?
No, he shouldn't be. Like, he going from the game film that you saw in Miami to this year, he looked like he was a full second slower, like in his run times. If you have him do the 40 from last year to this year, he looked so slow, no explosiveness, looked lost out in the field looking for the balls. I don't know what happened with him because he looked lights out down in Miami. He comes here and just slow as molasses.
He's a Pro Bowler.
No yeah.
And you know what? When people say Pro Bowler, I don't even know what that means anymore because, people are going to say, well, you know what? Shador Sanders was a Pro Bowler. People are going to go, yeah, he was a Pro Bowler.
But you figure you had what almost 1,100 yards last year, 1,200 yards, something like that, 7 or 8 touchdowns down there. I'm thinking, okay, if we get a half of that production, Freiermuth gets about the same. That's going to be awesome production out of those 2 guys. And it was bad. Like, it was bad. I was excited when we got him, and the execution of him, and when he was out there, it was bad.
He just had bad. Mike, he had no open field skills, and that was the only reason I thought we wanted him.
Yeah, and then you look at the film, the previous season, Miami, he's making guys miss. He's running away from people. Maybe he needs to play down in the South.
Maybe let's do.
Maybe his body's like, F this weather up here. If it's not 90, I can't play.
We have an important message. We have to. Would you stop for a minute? This is a new. I see a new name here. Jeff Cannot Dance, which I think is a brilliant name. He must be name. He must be a white guy like I am, because I go by that name as well. I am also unable to dance. But let me get to the point. Jeff Cannot Dance says this. I'm a bit perplexed. First time here. ... Sorry, Vanilla Thunder, Mike, if you will, please.
Vanilla Thunder, brother. We up here going after the lot lizards and our Peruvian marching powder, brother. I'm laying down the thunder from down under, giving the ladies a little vanilla.
There you go, Jeff. If that helped.
That did not help at all, brother. Sorry.
But what you see in front of you on the screen is Vanilla Thunder. Obviously, the skullet that you see and all that is not real. That is his alter ego. And a matter of fact, keep your eye open because there are signs that he might just be making it back to the live screen here real soon. But Jeff, thank you for the comment. Awesome to have you here. Yes, also, Jeff Cannot Dance says no unless you use him as a big running back. I think that was going back to Jonnu. A couple more guys. We were just 2 minutes away, Mike, from Now it makes sense. There it is. Jeff cannot dance. It does make sense. It does.
If
Believe it or
that
not.
made sense, man, whew, you're in the right place.
Lightning Rod says this. I'm a New Jersey Steeler fan all my life. Hey man, that's awesome, bro. We love it. We love you. We love. You know what? I love New Jersey fans. I got to be honest with you. People from a lot of people from New Jersey love the Steelers, and that's one thing I know. I know that there's a lot of people south of the border. People in Mexico love the Steelers. I know that there's a lot of people in New Jersey. As Steeler Nation is everywhere, I'm learning more and more how just popular by just different regions that the Steelers are. Again, New Jersey is huge. Huge. They have special chapters of Steeler fans that make the trek down and such. And also, I do know again south of the border, a lot of people in Mexico love the Steelers, guys. Keep the Steeler community growing. Always, baby. It's what it's all about. It's always about the black and the gold. As the Steelers just 1 minute away from the big conference. Mike, pull that up and let me know if there's anything that's being said, anything of relevance to me. I think this is just going to be an introductory, formal meeting, kind of introduce the coach. The new coach Mike is going to get up there and he's going to give some words. But in my opinion, this is what it's going to be, Mike. So keep me posted. I'm going to stay on the board here. I'm going to keep engaged with everybody as we want to continue to do on the board here. Richard says this. He's not the only one that needs to be cut. Absolutely not. And that was just the beginning of the beginning of that conversation, just because on the time situation. But you're right, Johnny Smith is not the only one that needs to be cut. We'll certainly get more into that, guys. We surely will, because there are certainly people that should not be on this team moving forward. Steel Loyal says North Carolina is, and I do know that. I've known somebody in the Air Force, and when I went to visit him, there was plenty of Steeler fans. I do know that to be true, 100% true. Lightning Rod says I went to Pittsburgh once. All the women's were blondes. That's right. They're all blonde here, baby. They're all blonde. It's like, I don't know. We do got a lot of blondes. I'll give you that. Jeff Cannot Dance says there was a Steelers bar in Germany back in the early 90s. There you go. In Germany, guys. Even the Nazis. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Dang.
Even the Nazis love the Steelers. Just kidding, obviously. But Germany, there you go. Steel Loyal says he's on the stand now, guys. So there you go. Do pop it on. Mike is going to keep us updated here if there's anything important that does pop up. But I do believe that we're just going to be introducing our head coach as we speak. I will be staying here. TC is keeping me updated on the board. He says they are live now. And I'll continue to be engaged as we do move on. TC says this, Jeff, you need dancing lessons. We'll teach you in That's right. You know what? That is true. That is where I go when I need to learn how to dance.
Yeah, brother.
I just go down the street here in Quip, and you know what? I learned pretty damn good. At the end of the day, though, I wasn't naturally good at it. Stop by Quip, they'll teach you. TC, they're live right now. Still Loyal says Rooney and Omar. There are two.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I want to say you may have missed the comment of the day. Tortilla Jackson, after I got done with my my Vanilla Thunder skit, he was like, "That was exactly how Chris Shula's interview with Rooney went." That's a good one right there.
Still Loyal says McCarthy looks nervous, Mike.
Yeah, he looks as a big guy and a bald guy. You got a big suit on. The Steelers aren't doing him any justice. There looks like a lot of lights coming down on his head. Yeah, that's not good for a fat guy.
All right. So again, you guys are helping me today. I don't see what's going on. Mike sees what's going on. Everybody on the board, perhaps, and everybody at home, they're watching it as well. So I'm keeping engaged is what I'm going to do here. Mike is going to keep me posted. Everybody on the board as well, keep me posted, guys. We're here. It's 2:02. It's time to introduce the new Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, Mike McCarthy. Third time in the Super Bowl era, guys. Here we are. Lightning Rod says Germany makes good products. Still Loyal says McCarthy looks nervous as hell. Very few claps. Steeler Freak says you could dance if you want to. Men without hats, absolutely. You didn't even have to tell me that was men without hats. I could SSAAFFEETTY, whatever the hell it is, as much as the next guy when it comes to dancing. Jeff Cannot Dance says they make good Heffenwiesen in blondes. Happy Tears, Steel Valley says, or I'm sorry, Still Loyal. I'm sorry, Still Loyal. Steel Valley is a high school here, of course, in Pittsburgh. My man, Lightning Rod, everybody. Any good scoop? Anybody see anything good going on? Anything that's notable, worth talking about? Keep me posted. I am going to stay engaged here throughout this introductory press conference, guys. And then after that, we will start to begin to wrap it up with the question of the day, trivia question of the day. Also, a little scoop about how this Pittsburgh Penguin team really picking it up under their new head coach. Main reason I want to talk about that, guys, new head coaches usually bring new life. Certainly in Pittsburgh, you're seeing it with the Penguins. The Pirates started to turn it around. They have a new life with some new players. And again, the Steelers, of course, right now with Mike McCarthy. Lots and lots of good days ahead if you were a Pittsburgh sports fan overall, guys. But the big news, of course, Mike McCarthy right now is being introduced as the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, only the fourth in just 60 years, in 60-plus years, the Super Bowl era, if you will. Tortilla says that was exactly how Chris Shula. Okay, there was that comment of the day, talking, of course, about Mike and his in the Vanilla Thunder. Scoot up here. I don't want to miss anything. Mike McCarthy is on ESPN now, as Miss Pittsburgh is saying. So go check it out over on ESPN. Excuse me. Jen says, pushing my dad around the nursing home. A resident had a Steeler sign on the door. I wanted to knock and visit. You should have. You know what? Steeler fans are usually great people. Very, very likable and very. They like talking about their Steelers. You should have stopped by and said, what's up? Hope everything is going well with your dad. Yeah, Mike.
Right. Yeah, McCarthy saying meant the world to him. You know, Pittsburgh is his world. His heart is full, and my focus is singular. It's time to bring a championship back to this city.
All right, guys. There you
Let's
go.
bring championship back to the bargain at.
And one thing that I do got to say, there's not been a Super Bowl era Pittsburgh Steeler coach that hasn't won a Super Bowl. I'm just throwing that out there. And the last one did it pretty early. So just throwing it out there, guys. Jeff cannot dance. Powerful moment for new coach Mike. So congratulations. Welcome, Coach Mike McCarthy, everybody. The new sheriff is in town, if you will. Time to move forward and time to start getting ready to bring the new chapter. And hopefully that brings wins. Hopefully that brings playoff wins. Hopefully that brings championship games. Hopefully that brings Super Bowls, everything else. Only time will tell. Time will tell, as Miss Pittsburgh is saying, right at the top of the board right there. Yeah, Mike.
Mel Blunt's there. Both Joey Porters are there. Alex Highsmith, Ryan Shaziers, and a couple other current and former Steelers have shown up for Mike McCarthy introductory press conference. So, players past, present, are there showing support. So hopefully that's a good sign that the team's buying in.
All right. Welcome, as Miss Pittsburgh is saying on the board. And that was kind of a concern. The players, the current players, of course, I know they love Coach T. There's no denying that he was a great guy. The guy was a great guy. I can't say that enough. Whether you think he was a great coach, whatever your opinion is, I'm sure he was a wonderful person and people loved him. And again, it was the quiet, just not much being said amongst the players that are actively on the team was kind of a concern, Mike, because again, are they against this? Are they for it? Of course, they didn't want to lose Coach T. Everyone loved him. But at the end of the day, how do they feel now with a new head coach moving forward? So again, to see people there, to see them, embracing the change and moving forward, you got to like that. That's a win, in my opinion, moving forward for the Steelers here. Steeler Freak says, why does Art have a coach's whistle on? I don't know why he has a coach's whistle on. Tortilla says the media are probably rejoicing right now that they don't have to get shit from Tomlin. Wouldn't you should have McCarthy came out and did some Tomlinisms?
I'd fucking love it. I want some McCarthyisms, baby. We're gonna deep fry the offense.
Yes.
They all gotta be food related. Big guy, we gotta do it food related.
Check it out, guys. ESPN as we speak. Steeler Freak says this Mike borrowed that suit from Derpy. Let's see. Steeler Freak reading from a script. Calm and Mike, let it rip. LOL. Let's go up here a little bit. Powerful moment for Coach Mike. That is Jeff cannot dance. He is saying that. He's our new coach, guys. There you go. Mike McCarthy, the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the turning of the page, if you will, for the next chapter that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. A few came before him. More will come after him. But at the end of the day, right here, 2026, guys, as Steeler fans moving forward in the Steeler family and Steeler Nation, this is the day that the coach Mike McCarthy takes over. There you go. How's it looking, Mike? How's it playing out? Is it still anything still going on, guys, on the board? Let me know. Again, I'm the only one that don't see it. I'm looking at 15 screens going on, and none of them have what I want to see as far as this goes. But
it's still going on. Nothing earth shattering has come out. He said, talking about him coaching here and his coaching staff, he said it's all about fit. Finding it's going to be it was the right fit for him. Now it's finding, more or less like the right coaches that are going to fit, his philosophy. So nothing earth shattering has come out of the press conference so far.
All right, Bob Ross, LOL. Miss Pittsburgh, he just got through talking about Rodgers. It is time. It is in the air, so Aaron Rodgers might be back. You know what? I don't know. Maybe we'll have that as a whole conversation another day this week. I don't know, guys. What do you think? I'm ready to move forward.
Because if you're constantly looking back, you can never move forward.
Right.
It's time. Any change in life, you got to just, change happened. Okay, we've assessed it. We've done through it. Now it's just time to go forward. You need to just move on.
It feels like the prime example of kicking the can down the road if you keep Aaron around again, because you're hanging on him, you're depending on him, and you're hoping he finds ways to win these games. How is the Steelers actually improving if that be the case? If you continue to keep Aaron here, because again, he's a smart guy. He's going to do a lot. He's going to do good, as we've seen last year, even at 43 years old, 42 years old. So at the end of the day, do you want to move on? Do you want to move forward to the next step? Again, with the new coach, I think that's where you have to go. I think you got to go bringing Aaron Rodgers back. Yes, he's a good friend with coach. Yes, he's worked with them. Yes, he's had success under him. Yes, he's won a Super Bowl against our Steelers with him. But at the end of the day, Mike, then we're just going to keep saying, Aaron's going to get it. Aaron's going to help us win this game. It's more than Aaron at this point. It's time for the Steelers to move forward. Who's going to be the guy moving forward? Again, we can't sit around and depend on Aaron Rodgers to help us win football games as this team continues to try to become a competitor once again. The fact of the matter is Aaron Rodgers is not going to be winning a Super Bowl championship with the Steelers anytime in the future, in my opinion. If that means falling down a couple pegs to get the younger guy or whoever you want under center to be in there, I think that at the end of the day, that's the direction you go. I don't bring Aaron Rodgers back. That's me. But I wasn't for bringing Aaron Rodgers in last year. However, when he was able to do a lot of the things he did, he scored points, got the ball down the field, not great, but he did. I was okay with it, but I'm kind of there now where I'm ready to move forward. Chuck Noll mentioned still loyal is saying. Also, Brooke Pryor, that's always a good mention as well. Somber said he said Tomlin left him to a lot of work to do, a lot to work with. I'm sorry. Tomlin left him a lot to work with. So that's a good thing, I think. John says this, he gave Rodgers an invitation to come back. Now Rodgers will drag. And that's one thing I didn't want. I don't want this song and dance with Rodgers for the next 10 months. I don't know how that's productive. Again, how do you move forward if you're waiting on Aaron Rodgers to give you an answer? You got to start today. Mike McCarthy should leave this press conference and head over and start working today. Now.
Funny you should mention that, Ryan, because he actually said he's like, I can't wait for this to be over because I want to, go to work.
You know what? Good. Get to work. Get to work, you.
Stop doing this part of your job and do the more important part of your job.
Let's see. Let's talking about defense now. Lightning Rod says, wow, I love the roster. I think it's a roster that's fluid. That's from the mouth of somebody. Came on his quotes from Somber. Also, let me scoot back up here. Chuck Noll mentioned Rodgers will not win a Super Bowl. I agree. I say give Howard a shot to quiet the OSU huggers. And again, if that's the direction we're going to go, why not start? Why not get it started? Why not get your young quarterback involved? Again, missing his whole first year, not even getting reps for the most part because of that injury. I'd like to see Will Howard again. I'd like for this to be the beginning of moving forward. Again, we're going to rely on Aaron Rodgers and hope that he could do things to win games when that shouldn't ultimately be what it comes down to, because again, he's going to be retired very, very soon. If not this year, next year for sure. I am all about getting this team moving forward. Again, why waste a situation that you do have? I think we have a good situation to start on that new step, that new foot moving forward. I say, let's do it. I'm going to grab a few more of these messages, Mike, and I think we're going to start rounding it into time for the trivia question. It is 2:13 Eastern Standard Time here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Of course, Mike McCarthy being introduced as the new Pittsburgh Steelers head coach today, guys. Tonight, if you don't want to miss this, if you are going to be paying attention, especially with the draft coming here to Pittsburgh, we do have the East-West Shrine Bowl coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. That's going to be on the NFL Network, the 101st East-West Shrine Bowl, and then also on Saturday, the Senior Bowl on the NFL Network as well. Keep an eye on it, see what these kids are looking like coming up. And also the Combine just right around the corner, Mike. We have the NFL Combine coming up next month. We'll be keeping an eye on the situations there as well. We're going to be sending coaches, scouts, everything, keeping an eye on possibilities for people to be drafted, and even beyond that, Mike, as you do continue to sign players after the draft that don't get drafted and bring in some undrafted players. So for those reasons, these games are important. You're going to want to keep paying attention tonight. 101st East-West Shrine Bowl today at 7 o'clock, and again Saturday, the Senior Bowl. Next Tuesday is the Pro Bowl. If you're one of the 6 people that still care like I do, next Tuesday is the Pro Bowl. Check that out. And then, of course, 1 week from this coming Sunday is Super Bowl 60, the game between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. The Patriots with the win can pass the Steelers all time with 7 Super Bowl wins and the youngest coach ever, or the youngest quarterback ever to win the Super Bowl. If, in fact, Drake May does win, he would pass Ben, who has that, and also the Steelers, who have 6 tied with New England. This would pass them. So I recommend, if you don't, if you're looking for someone to choose and root for, I certainly wouldn't choose for the Patriots if you love your Steelers, guys, heading into the Super Bowl 60. A couple other things here, guys. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they swept their West Coast trip. They won all 4 games, all 4 legs on that West Coast trip, which is 3 of them were in Canada, 1 of them being in Seattle. Penguins, they do improve to 26, 14, and 11 on the season. They'll be back Thursday at 7 when the Chicago Blackhawks come to town to take on the second-place Pittsburgh Penguins.
Who would have thought this coming from the Penguins, man? They looked like they were down and out. People were ready to run Dubas out of town, and my God, he just totally flipped the script. Crosby playing out of his mind, Malkin drinking from the fountain of youth. This is sight to see. Hopefully it can happen across the street for the Steelers, baby.
New coaches bring new energy. I'm telling you, let's hope that we can take advantage as well. Of course, right now, Mike McCarthy being introduced as the Steelers' new head coach. Richard makes a good point. Maybe if Aaron Rodgers comes back as it's coming in like a backup, maybe a teacher, that something like that.
Do you see his ego letting that happen?
What's that?
Do you see his ego let a lot?
No, I don't see. Well, no, I don't. I don't. But you know what? I mean, it's a good idea. Nonetheless, Tortilla says we're staying as a 3-4 defense. Artie has that shit earring grin. Mike McCarthy checks all the boxes. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Aaron Rodgers needs to go. That's, in my opinion, Richard. That's the same here. I just come on. He's not part of the next step. In my opinion, we have to move forward. And again, we're going to be depending on Aaron to win games. That's something we shouldn't be doing moving forward. Other guys should be learning. Other guys should be improving. Other guys should be developing. Other guys should be the guys that are learning ways to win football games on this team. And again, I don't think that's very beneficial if we're sitting around waiting for Aaron to make a throw to win a game at the end of the day. Tyrone says, I like what he's saying for real. He wants to be here. We like that, of course. Steeler Freak says Bills and Ravens had an effing comedy reality show press conference. We got paint drying 2 extremes. We're trying to stay in the playoffs. Quote, this is Steel Loyals sharing that. Also, Steel Loyal saying he's saying all the right things now. Exactly. Let's see it. Let's see it in action. And as I said, don't you want to get to work? You're at the stadium. Get to work. Go to your office and start doing what you got to do to brainstorm, make phone calls. At the end of the day, we want a coach that's going to step in and really fight and work hard to do this job. And I think Mike McCarthy can be that guy. So again, today introduced as the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, only the 4th in the Super Bowl era, guys. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the merch store, all of our links to social media. They're the dumb thoughts. Check it out at the to dumyinzers.com.
All right, question of the day, guys. Mike, put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board as everything is wrapping up here. Also with the press conference, guys. This is the question of the day. This is about the rookies. Mike, of course, we do have the draft coming in less than 90 days right here to Pittsburgh. We got a gazillion picks. It's going to be a big day for our Steelers. This is going to be a question about our draft picks from this past season, Mike. This is our draft pick. This is the question of the day. Put on your thinking caps. Here we go. Of these three players, which one of them led the team in tackles for rookies in this rookie season, Mike? I'm going to give you the names. Y.A. Black, Derek Harmon, and Sawyer, Jack Sawyer. Three guys, they came through in clutch. They made some pretty big plays for our Steelers this season. I want to know which one of those three rookies. Don't look it up. Just take a guess. It's one of three. You have a 33% chance of getting it correct. Maybe even know it. Which one of those three rookies on defense led the rookies on D in tackles as rookies? Guys, again, Y.A. Black, Derek Harmon, Jack Sawyer. Throw your thoughts up on the board if you think that you know. Again, just take a guess. Or you can look it up. It's up to you. Any way you want to slice it. But we're live. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube.
On Tube.
All right, guys. Again, the question of the day. Between those three rookies that played a lot on defense, Jack Sawyer, Derek Harmon, and Y.A. Black, I need to know which one of those rookies led that group in tackles. Mike, any thought process on this?
I initially would have said Derek Harmon. He was the first overall pick. He had a hell of a year, but he did miss time. Y.A. Black didn't have there's times where he didn't play a whole lot either. Jack Sawyer was just a situational guy, but I feel on the edge you get more tackles than the D tackles did because they're eating up the blocks and blah, blah, blah. So I want to go with Jack Sawyer.
All right, Jack Sawyer, Mike, you were taking that. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, it's probably the wrong choice, but that's going to be my final answer.
Hey, man, it's a guess. Let me lock you in on that. Guys, again, the question of the day. We're talking about the three rookies that play on defense this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Y.A. Black, Derek Harmon, and also Jack Sawyer. I need to know which one of those three guys led that group with tackles this year. I see Derek Harmon on the board, Mike. That is from Steeler Freak. Ty saying he's glad he's calling plays, talking about the coach. Of course, let me grab a couple of these messages as we do. Wait, don't forget to throw your guess up there if you think that you know which one of those three rookies led that group in tackles. Y.A. Black, Derek Harmon, Jack Sawyer. Mike has his guess in. Steeler Freak John, he's saying Harmon on the board. Throw your guesses up there, guys. We'll give that away in just a moment. Steel Loyal says he's saying all the right things now. We love that. Now show us. Why is this board not moving? And those are. So I'm going to jump over to this board here. And this is why I have multiple screens. People say, why do you have multiple screens, but you can't see the conference? Well, because I have a system here that it requires all these screens. I got to be honest with you. Maybe one day I'll show you from this side. But let's jump on the board here. McCarthy calling all the plays. Steel Loyal says confirmed. Call it like it is, Art. It was the safe decision. I'm glad he's calling the plays. Tyrone says, also Steeler Freak says, Loyal, correct, safe and cheap. Sawyer is an outlier. Guys, one more time, the question of the day. Get your answers up on the board if you think you know it, or that just throw a guess up there, guys. Between these three rookies that played on defense for the Steelers, which one of them led the group in tackles? Was it Y.A. Black? Was it Derek Harmon? Or was it Jack Sawyer? Guys, again, all three rookies had decent playing time this year, certainly for the Steelers defense. Which one of those guys had the most tackles of the group? Throw your guesses up there as we are getting ready to wrap things up for the day. Any scoop? Anything still going on? Is the conference? Is it over? Is it still happening? What's going on?
Looks like it's still happening. He's real excited about Will Hard.
All right, good. That's encouraging. All right, guys. Question of the day: which one of those three rookies on defense led the way in tackles for the Steelers this year? Guys, it's between Y.A. Black, Derek Harmon, and, of course, Jack Sawyer. The correct answer is Jack Sawyer has 20. He comes in third between the three. 20 tackles on the season. Jack Sawyer, third. Derek Harmon, with 27 tackles, comes in second. Y.A. Black, with 28 tackles, leads the way.
Wow.
Y.A. Black, of those three rookies playing on defense this year, Y.A. Black led the way, 28 tackles. Derek Harmon, 27 tackles. Jack Sawyer, 20 tackles. Guys, the correct answer of the day is Y.A. Black led those three rookies, 28 tackles on the season. Mike, what do you think?
I like it. Not bad value for like a 4th round pick there, man. He got better as the year went along as well. So I'm really excited for YA. Man, if he can develop the way Derek Harmon is playing, if those two can play at the same level at the same time, whoo, look out, baby.
I agree. I like
look some of these, out, Loretta.
I like some of this defensive line talent that we're picking up, Mike. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's grab a few more of these messages as we're rounding third here, guys. I'm going to go right here. Mike has been eating good, is what Somber says. I did see Mike. I do see him. He's looking good. He looks like he's very healthy, if you will. Steeler Freak says, Mike must have 2 screens for Ryan's split personality. Yes, absolutely. Maybe more.
I should have 4 or 5, but 2 works.
2 works for now. Also, Richard, that was correct. Harmon, that was incorrect, actually. Y.A. Black led the way, 28. Derek Harmon, 27. Jack Sawyer, 20. So that's how that played out. The correct answer was Y.A. Black. Let me jump right here. Steel Loyal says it doesn't seem like Mike McCarthy wants to stray away from the 3-4 base defense. You know what? As much as everyone thinks it's time for that to change, I don't think it's going to change. It just seems like it's going to stay as 3-4, and there's not much that we could do about it at this point. Somber says, yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry. I'm going to say, and we don't run out of base a whole lot anyway. It's a lot of sub packaging. So
exactly. Somber says, yeah, that doesn't sound great, Loyal. Hopefully he's speaking on the players, not the scheme. And Steele says that's what he's hoping as well, guys. Mike, I do want to say a few things before we do get ready to wrap things up for today. I want to say, as you are getting ready for either the Shrine Bowl tonight or the Senior Bowl on Saturday or the Pro Bowl on Tuesday or the Super Bowl next Sunday, whatever the case may be, do your favor and stop down and grab yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner, now available in Giant Eagle, guys. You can stop and get 12 packs also at Giant Eagle. The people at Duquesne Pilsner go out of their way to include us in their promotions, and we are forever grateful to them, guys. So we're just asking you, if you maybe you don't drink, just go visit some of their social media, hit the like button. I'm sure that will help them as well, guys. Duquesne Pilsner, made right here in Pittsburgh. Mike, as it says on the can, grab a Duke. Also, what else do we got going on? I do want to say this. We are all over the internet, guys. If you want to swing by any of our social media, we are all over the place. You can swing by Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok. Go over, hit the follow button, keep up with the 2 Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. That stuff's all out there. Also, and if you haven't had a chance as well, just hit the, if you could hit that like button down below, hit the like, sub, share, even comment. It all helps in the algorithm, guys. We appreciate it all. And we want to say thank you to that. For that. Mike, anything else as we do start wrapping things up? Anything that you've seen from the press conference? Any comments that you want to make before we do wrap things up for today? Mike, your final word before we get ready to go.
It looks like he's going to build a younger staff. He said you got to get those young dudes in, the guys that like to grind. So we'll see. Maybe if he brings in some veterans in, maybe younger coaches underneath those more experienced coaches, see if we get an expanded coaching staff. And it also looked like Art said they did not want to interview or some of the really young coaches. So they wanted someone who was established with a winning way. So really only left kind of Mike McCarthy as their guy. It's kind of like they identified him immediately, is the way it was sounding from some of the answers.
So there you go, guys. This is where we be. We have a new head coach. He's in place. He was introduced. Pittsburgh Steelers, they're figuring out what it is they have to do to get back in the winning track, guys. I think we're going to do this. I think we land on our feet. I think we're going to do just fine. Hopefully we could win in January. That's the next step, in my opinion. Guys, that is where we want to go next. Let me grab a couple more of these messages. I do also want to say this, Mike. Some other defensive coordinators that have came up, their names, of course, Jim Schwartz from the Browns. It would be great if we would steal him from the Browns. Again, really great defense in Cleveland. Team not so much. End of the day, also Larry Foote, that is a name that came up. Anthony Weaver is a name that came up. Raheem Morris is a name that came up. So all these questions still to be answered, Mike. Still so many things. Who's coming back? Who isn't coming back? Who do we think is going to be players brought in to help this team move forward? A lot of things are going to happen between now and September for our Steelers, guys, and we'll be here for every damn day of it, guys. I want to say thank you so much to everybody. Thank you for coming and hanging out and checking us out today, especially on this day of the press conference for the new coach Mike McCarthy. You guys are awesome. I want to say thank you everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. We couldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you guys. You are the lifeblood, and we always say it and we always mean it. And everybody else, if you're at home, maybe you're at work, the gym, the car, wherever the case may be, you got buds in, earphones, or you're just listening. Guys, thank you to everybody. 100% appreciated. You guys are awesome. You rocked the board today. I can't wait, Mike, to get back on and read what all went down on the terrible board, as I did miss some here and there. But again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today, hanging out with us as we got ready for the Mike McCarthy. That's going to take me a while to not say Mike McCarthy or Mike. Now I'm saying it wrong again. To say Mike Tomlin and start saying Mike McCarthy.
You're screwed now.
How you gonna give me another mic? I literally am working with a mic. I have 2 mics I have to decide, talk between. Too many mics in my opinion, but you know what? We'll take it, guys.
More mics
tomorrow to go over all this and so much more. I'm going to get a chance to watch the conference myself, and then we'll talk about that so much more tomorrow and figure out what it is the Steelers have to do to keep moving in the right direction moving forward. We hope to see you then. Again, thank you so much to all the new faces, the new names on the board. Guys, you rock this. You rock, man. You really do rock our world. We hope we can do the same back to you and for you guys. Thank you, Miss Pittsburgh. She says, great show like always. We appreciate you. Somber, Steel, Loyal, Richard, the whole way down. John, you guys, come on. The names go on and on. You know who I'm talking about, and I mean it for every single one of you guys. Thank you so much from here to Two Dum Yinzers, for Derpy, for Finch, for Vanilla, for myself, and for the Two Dum Yinzers. Have a great day. If you got to get out and do your shoveling, man, take some breaks. It's a killer. Guys, but we will be back tomorrow. We can't wait to see everybody then. Steel Loyal saying no timeline for Rodgers. So much to get into. We'll see everybody tomorrow for the Two Dum Yinzers. Have a great Tuesday. Don't forget, Shrine Bowl tonight, 7 o'clock. We'll be talking about that tomorrow as well. Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.